to Impossible Coin. I'm Brian Cartwright. I'm joined by Rocky Hardy, who's out here grind maxing and mogging on all the bosses.
Yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. And holding the ultimate face card, Tegan Somerset.
I don't know what any of this means.
The face card?
I don't know language. It turns out maybe
come
I don't
on.
know English. Maybe I only think I know English.
Well, I've memorized a lot of words, that's for sure.
Yay! What was a face card? What does it mean in this context, I guess?
I think that Brian is saying that you're pretty.
Ah, thank you, Brian.
I'm just sitting here with my Zoomer to old dictionary.
Yeah.
There it is. It's the mogging, the maxing, and the gooning that really had me confused over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I know what gooning is. I know what that is.
Yeah, same.
Well, I thought I knew what gooning was.
Interesting.
Until I was told that someone was jester gooning.
Oh, for sure. I think that relates more to like gooning in the classical sense, actually.
I was told that they thought they were jester maxing, but in fact they were jester gooning.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's goon closer to like the classical sense, like relating to like, unintelligent henchmen and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Look at this goon. Oh no. I'm thinking about look at this goon in the modern horrible sense, and oh no. Oh God, I think I'm on the record on this show saying Reddit is a terrible place and that should be avoided.
That's come up more than once, yeah.
Yeah, but I was hanging out in a friend's Discord server. Someone fired up a stream. They thought they would do a lol. They're like, "Hey, everybody, let's go to r/goon cave."
No, thank you.
Friends, I have done some things on this show where Rocky and Tegan have said to me, "Brian, don't open that Google window." In the early years of this show, Brian, don't open that Google window was almost a recurring theme.
Like every other week,
I do believe it was Brian, don't search that on DeviantArt.
Yeah, I think that's a direct quote, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure there is anything I saw in those heady days which scarred me nearly as much as 5 minutes of r/goon cave. Like,
that's fair, I think.
Friends, we used to live in a society.
Actually,
incorrect. Incorrect. We still live in a society.
Oh no.
Well, no. Actually, Tegan, I'm on Brian's side this time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, first of all, fuck you, Rocky. Continue.
Yeah. So, there's a philosopher, or there's a few philosophers, modern philosophers that I've been paying attention to lately, and they've been talking about this thing that Brian has been like scratching around for a very long time. The loss of like, shared cultural context and like the advent of like hyper reality. And I think one of the things that's happened in like the near total like omniscient like interconnectedness that like the internet has made possible is that in response society largely has fragmented, and like we've ended up in like silos that are difficult to connect. And it actually reminds me a lot of, I guess, what like the end game of Death Stranding was like, where like you have all these like separated like micro communities that are more interested in interacting with each other than like interacting with some like perceived whole, or like maintaining like presentability to a perceived whole. And like the end game of that game is like you rebuild the highways, right? Like you're reconnecting these micro communities because there's an idea that like humanity as its like social form is better together in whatever form that is than separated overall. I actually do agree with Brian in saying that we don't really live in a society anymore. I think we are members of several different micro societies, and there are even more that do not talk to each other anymore.
And part of the problem is, and we can talk about, like, because this is a separate problem.
Sure.
Is that, like, how far does someone's empathy extend?
Hmm.
So, like, let's say you're in some, like, hyper, like, small fragmented society that you recognize the existence of. And you're like, okay, like, I only recognize the humanity of people who have the original 5x1 orange peg Lego brick.
Sure.
Yeah, those are the only people who I think have worth and value. When that person goes to the Walgreens, to pick up their prescription, like, they're not going to recognize the humanity of the person ringing them up because they're like, I don't know if this person has a 5x1 original orange Lego brick. Like, that's the problem. It is that, like, as we fragment into increasingly smaller societies, it's shifting how far we are willing to extend empathy. Like, if you, like, hi, here's me knocking on Republicans. That's a thing that happens relatively frequently on the show. Is you walk up to, like, your dime a dozen average Republican these days, and you're like, hello, sir. Do you believe that progressives should be allowed to live? Just, like, eat food, breathe air, put on pants? And there's a good chance the answer you'll get back will be some kind of, like, mealy mouth version of no. Like, no, I do not believe that, like, progressives should be allowed to live. But it's not just Republicans. Like, there's people who do not have any empathy beyond whatever they believe is the edge of the society that they think that they exist in. So yes, we do not live in a society. Like that. Oh, so here, how can I? You know what? I'm going to tell this story as a hypothetical. That works. That
Oh
works.
God.
Um, what if there was a guy who worked in a major corporation, which experienced significant layoffs? Okay, and he reached out to a peer who he knew had a mutual friend, and said, like, hey, have you talked? I'm sorry, not mutual friend, mutual coworker. He knew this person to be closer to the coworker than he was, but he was aware that this person, kept in touch with us. Like, hey, have you heard person X got laid off? And their response was, yeah, I haven't gotten in touch with them. I'm like, well, oh, I'm sorry, what's this? You know what? Fuck it. I can't do this. It's too complicated. I'll just say I recently had a stunning experience where I discovered, like, an end of empathy, like, in a really real case. Um, it was. I guess I can just do it. Yeah. Well, I reached out to a coworker. I was like, hey, have you heard that so and so got laid off? And their response was, yeah, I heard they got laid off. And I asked her, like, well, did you reach out to him? Have you talked to him? And the response was, like, no, I haven't. I haven't talked to him. I was like, why? Why haven't you talked to him? And they're like, well, they're like, uh, they went MAGA. And, like, I knew this as a person who had known the person who got laid off for, like, 10 years. And I knew that they were, like, still cordial with this person, like, at least, like, in the office setting. Like, I would, like, see them, like, in group chats and such, like, chatting back forth about this. Upon hearing that somebody had gotten laid off, somebody that they had known for 10 years had decided that they were not going to, like, reach out, check in on them, or express any empathy toward their layoff because they were MAGA. Now, do I and this is where like I get conflicted because I'm like, man, I sure don't have any patience or stomach for any of the political positions that person who got laid off has. But also, like, Jesus Christ, I really do think that like, like if we're gonna get through this as a species, we have to have some kind of like baseline recognition of the value of humanity of people. Like, and where that starts and stops, I don't know. Like, that's a much more difficult question. Like, is that something where you reach out to someone like, hey, just heard you got laid off? Is it offering to like be a recommendation for that person if you authentically believe that they're good at their work? Is it what do you do? I don't know. And it's tough because a lot of that stuff was used to be easier to know. Like, I feel like I was better at knowing that stuff at 30 than I am now because I feel like I have been retrained to be very angry by like the post society siloed societies plural.
How'd you know before?
I was like, oh, there are people! Exclamation point. The people deserve stuff. Like housing and food and to not be afraid. But it seems like we reached some kind of like collective bargain where we said like, okay, like the only thing that will make me not afraid is if you are afraid. And that's just no good. Like, that's just no fucking good. Like if someone's like, well, my well-being is only guaranteed by your terror, like that can't be negotiated with.
Also, in practice, it doesn't work, but waiting for that realization to land gambles sometime that people can't always
Yeah,
afford.
just ugh. I don't know. I do not know. Like, I know something I have expressed frustration with on the show is people having more empathy for DoorDash robots than humans. I was recently in a McDonald's parking lot, and there were people crowding around DoorDash robots, taking pictures. It's like, ooh, like talking about how cute they were, posing for photos with the waiting DoorDash robots as if they were celebrities. And I was like, man, it's over, isn't it? It's just fucking over. Um,
Okay, settle down. I'm not saying that the DoorDash robots are something good, but like over seems like a jump.
it's difficult to not take jumps. Um,
That's fair.
yeah,
I get that much. But I don't know. I just feel like the answer to it is like rebuilding the highway. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and probably more importantly than simply rebuilding the highway, it's like never forgetting how to build and maintain the highway. Because I feel like one of the things that's happened over decades, like largely in the States for sure, but to some extent, the entire developed world, is that the world was developed in a way that most people never had to think about how any of it worked. And when people start breaking the things that hold up the developed world and no one knows, or rather the public generally doesn't know how to fix them, and the people who are so good at fixing and maintaining these things are removed from the equation, things start to fall apart.
They sure do.
Right. And like part of that is, putting the people who are extremely great at this back into the picture, but also generally recognizing and understanding how important these pieces are. And that's going to take a while. And the people who are breaking them are very interested in it taking just long enough so that they can hold on to it forever.
Oh,
For your exact scenario, Brian, the way that I approach that is if I would have reached out to that person, if I lost my job for a recommendation, I would reach out to them and offer a recommendation. Like,
For
that's
sure.
it. Easy as that. You know?
Extend a hand.
Who cares about the rest of it? Like,
Mm.
you're not dealing with them outside. You're just looking at them from a work environment perspective, right? You know, this isn't like a work. This isn't a friend. You know, you're not gonna like send them money to buy groceries or whatever. You're gonna be like, hey, if you need a work recommendation, I got you. That's it.
Right.
And like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the start, and that's all you have to do. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like this is like, hey,
And
I know that
you
this
also
person.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
other thing is like you don't have to make a deal out of it either. You can be like, "Hey, like if I were in your position, we worked well together and I would want you to offer me a recommendation, so I'm going to do the same for you." That's
Right.
it.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be like a song and dance. It doesn't have to be like a transactional thing. It's just like, "Hey, if you need something, I can help." That's it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have experience with your work ethic. I'm willing to vouch for your work ethic. Done. You know? It does like not everything has to be like the moral compass of time has to always point at the thing. Like, you know, you just gotta help people out. That's it.
Sometimes people suck, and it sucks that they suck. But if we can do what we can, things will get easier.
Yeah.
For sure.
The more people we help out, the less people will suck, and the more people will feel like they have community again. So, like, I think you're overthinking it, you know? And I think you're the other coworker who said, like, no, because they're super MAGA. Like, okay, cool, I get it. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
And then just don't worry about their opinion about it. Who cares, you know?
Yeah. It's a lot.
I feel like it's the like exception to that because obviously every rule has an exception, you know? Is like their next job is working for ICE. You know? That then I'd be like, never mind. Cool. Putting that one away. But like, you know, if their next job is like, oh, IBM, you know? Okay. I don't know.
Like, we don't have to enable monsters for sure.
Right, exactly.
But helping people.
Helping the people in your community is how you build community. You know? The food bank doesn't ask who you voted for.
True.
And that's how you have to treat this kind of stuff. You know? A misfortune befell you, and I'm here to help. In the way that I can. Like, in the capacity that I can. And in the capacity here is, hey, if you need someone to provide a job reference, put my number down. I'll write you a little LinkedIn blurb. Specifically about your work ethic, you know?
Sure.
That's it. I don't know. I feel like everybody's making a molehill out of mountains. Or mountains out of molehills, you know? With stuff like that.
Perspective has definitely worked in a lot of ways. I hear that.
There are some people at work that like I have antagonistic relationships with. Not because of anything they do outside of work, just we don't work well together, you know? And those people, if they're laid off, I'm like, cool, that sucks for them. Hope they land on their feet. No, I will not provide a reference, you know?
Sure.
But that's it. Just like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with them anymore. Because they made my life harder for no reason.
For no reason, no. I hope the coworker's okay, Brian.
They land on their feet.
Even if they're not, I hope you're able to help.
It's a like I'm gonna wander now. I'm gonna wander and graze. I'm gonna wander and graze to the privately held chicken sandwich restaurant Chick-fil-A.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it is not publicly traded. There is no stock. It is owned by the Cathy family. You know, founded by True Cathy, current chairman Dan Cathy, literal executive vice president Bubba Cathy. There is a thing which people often say which is like you can't eat at the Chick-fil-A because like every time you eat at the Chick-fil-A, you're funding hate. Um, and money from Chick-fil-A's registers goes directly into um, the hands of people who hate the queer community, and it's just like it's one of those like like when we talk about like society in its current shape, like in hype, and there was a word you used, Rocky, like hyper realism. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like part of hyper realism is the idea of purchasing in under capitalism as like performed ethics. Like I am a good person because of what money I do and do not spend, where I do and do not spend it, and like it's um like first of all, as a company, Chick-fil-A never gave any money to any causes. Second of all, the donations that are talked about are donations that were made by the Cathy family to a foundation which they owned called WinShape, and then WinShape would then further redistribute to causes. And in 2012, um, the when the Chick-fil-A boycott occurred, um, the WinShape Foundation um, was like, well, it sounds like what we should do is um, not put our money to some of these causes, and we should leave the conversation to the people and the government, and stop making donations to organizations which had like driven the boycott. Um, and like it seems like so it by like all measured, that's a boycott doing what a boycott is supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
I think about like there was like a boycott of Polaroid in the mid 1980s, and the reason for the boycott for Polaroid is that Polaroid supplied the peel apart film that was used by the South African government for the photo IDs to determine what race someone was officially for purposes of apartheid. And people are like, that's fucked up. Maybe don't use Polaroid cameras and Polaroid film to take pictures at your birthday party because Polaroid, supplies the tool of the tools of apartheid.
Sure.
Um, and it turned out that Polaroid wasn't even like selling this shit directly to the government of South Africa. It was being, procured through an intermediary supplier in
Mm-hmm.
Europe. But Polaroid was like, "Oh fuck, this is literally collapsing our retail market."
Right.
Uh, so they just stopped selling to that supplier. The supplier, the supplier who was supplying to South Africa, they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to sell anything more to you because you're selling to the South African government."
Mm-hmm.
And then they also took a very public position in opposition to apartheid and cut off that supplier's relationship. And people
For
were like,
sure.
"Oh, hooray! Polaroid did what we wanted. We'll keep
Mm-hmm.
on using Polaroids now because
Mm-hmm.
Polaroid took actions that were consistent with what we wanted." It didn't. I guess it didn't poison Polaroid forever. And I guess that's something else about where we are now, which I'm not into. It's like it seems like we're always angry at someone forever. If someone pisses us off, they don't ever get to not piss us off now. Like, just,
Well, maybe that's like the online sentiment. And honestly, I think there's good reason for that. Like, one thing that I think about is that the internet is not real. Like, it exists. Like, they ran the cables under the ocean and shit and everything. But like Twitter is not real life, and it never has been. And so the amplification of like a particular like incendiary message, which just happens to spread easier on the internet than it does like in meat space, I suppose, just seems like the cost of doing business.
Right.
I agree with you that like the internet, or rather platform holders in social media spaces, want people to be angry simply because it is good for business.
Yep.
And when there is a target, it's very easy for that target to remain a target for not only like recent memory, but for the foreseeable future. However, I don't know how much that reflects what's going on in like the world at large.
I think probably the realest example I can think of that, or the one that comes to mind immediately. I won't say
Okay.
realist. The
Sure.
one that immediately comes to mind is, um, let's say somebody does a thing and they get hung out to dry, and they're like, since I know everyone here will hate me forever, I will hereby pledge my fealty to the political right because I consider my future damned in like spaces that are liberal or left. So like I'll become a certified like club carrying, angry, screaming right wing person because there's no way like there's no like the perception of the perception of there being no path back, causing people to just be like, well, fuck it, like if I'm the Riddler, I might as well put on a hat with a question mark. Like if I'm the Joker, I might as well get a purple suit. Like,
Right. But like I feel like that's an exchange not only for like, like I agree that there's frustration in that decision, but
yeah,
like I also have to say that people who like make the jump to the right and be like a right wing like friendly personality all the way to being a full on mouthpiece are
right,
comfortable in those spaces, and not because of the necessarily because of the rhetoric. Like it's the money and the prestige and the fame, which is like a
yeah,
thing that like motivates all sorts of people for all
yep,
sorts of reasons. And
sure,
if that is like it's more of a faucet than a switch, you know what I mean?
sure,
And if
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the faucet's on the right, like that makes that choice easier. And while I agree that maybe the left could make that easier for some people that they deem worthy, they are also juggling a much more complicated task, right? Like they're measuring like their people's effect on the world and whatnot, and like how their history bears up to their current actions, as opposed to like the right, which largely seems to be like, are you saying what we like right now? You know?
Yeah. It, it's um, and I've seen people accuse the left of going like, well, that means that everybody has to be a paragon, um,
Sure.
and like sometimes that feels true,
Mm-hmm.
um, but like I'll say a shit like for me like for example like a litmus test that like it's like, well, I'm not necessarily asking someone to be perfect on renewable energy. I'm just saying don't co-sign a genocide, don't fund a
Sure.
genocide. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's not really asking for someone to be a paragon. That's asking them to like take step fucking one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh. But yeah, like I agree. Like, yeah, it's that whole uh, like what the right wants is like, are you saying exactly what we want right now? And if so,
Mm-hmm.
welcome aboard.
Yeah.
But like, so like the alternative, so you've got a demand for a paragon, and then when you were talking about like the idea of the faucet, and I think the faucet is directly related to what we were talking about earlier, which is like the erosion of the perception of what society you live in and what your responsibility is to it. Because
Mm-hmm.
like like let's say there is a person who gets burned out and and like they're hung out to dry. There are people who are like, you know what, I'm like people may be angry at me right now, and I may be currently cast out, but I'll be damned if I throw in with the Riddler. I'll be damned
Sure.
if I throw in with the Joker, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone may hate me, but I'm not those guys. And so their option is to like go into seclusion and disappear forever. Like
As a
like
response.
that's the other path. It's like because they'll never be forgiven, and their own ethics won't allow them to like join the right, and so their choice is to fade away. Um, I don't know.
I don't think that's true either. I think there's a lot of places that will allow you to say, hey, yeah, I fucked up here. I get that. These are the steps I'm taking to learn from the mistake that I made. I understand if you don't forgive me right now. That's cool. I just want you to know I'm working on it. And there's plenty of people who'll be like, cool. That's great. When you feel like you're ready to come back, come on in.
We'll check
But,
in.
Yeah. Don't like, hey, I fucked up. Oops, my bad. I'm gonna go do some learning and I'll be back when I feel better. That's super valid. And there's tons of people who will let you do that, you know?
I guess it goes back to like what Rocky was saying about like the internet being an amplification and not actually a real place.
Exactly. Like the internet is not a real place.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I feel like everybody who's super caught up in shit that's going on specific only on the internet is like just doesn't go anywhere or interact with anybody in a meet space. And I feel like a lot of counter to that is going places and interacting with people, you know? Not getting stuff delivered as much if you can help it, hanging out at your library for community event spaces that are free, like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Just go
like,
be with a
getting
person.
all your information. Yeah, like hanging out on the internet like all the time, like it's kind of like being in a kayak on the rapids. And if you spend all your time there, like everything starts to look like a river and every change looks like a waterfall. You know what I mean? But like that's just not the real world. You know, there's plains. There's mountains. You can just sit around sometimes. You don't always have to be caught up in the stream.
You know what else there is?
It's easy to feel that way.
What up? You ready for the clumsiest segue ever?
Let's do it. Why not?
You know what else there is? Balatro.
That's right. You've been running through Balatro lately.
Oh man.
Wait, hold on. Before you say anything else, did you watch the video? Did you see that dude break infinity or whatever?
I'm sorry, Rocky. Did I miss an important video?
I'm just gonna send it directly to you. Please continue.
Okay. When you say break infinity, do you mean that he got a hand in Balatro that was unscorable?
Yes, that is exactly what I mean. It broke the calculator for the video game and ended the game entirely.
My fucking... Oh, wow.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, Brian.
Holy shit.
And they mapped out what they did. They mapped out a particular seed where they can get the cards that they needed in order to get to this segment. They had to get... It's obviously past the normal 8, but it broke the game. He did it. It took him like an hour and a half or something.
Oh, no. Oh my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
At least we get the live reaction. I'm not mad at that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Brandon's just clicking through various segments. Like the numbers are spinning outside of the box, like because like the effect just keeps getting bigger. The flames keep getting bigger, and like eventually the game can't handle it and it breaks.
Yeah,
it's anti-12 round 38. So that's what it was. There are 6 jokers, including 2 copy jokers, and there's a Perxio in there, and there are an incredible amount of like steel. Red heart kings.
Yeah, you see, there are 4. Holy shit! Holy fucking shit!
Yeah, there we go. This is what I was waiting for.
There are 4 steel jokers in hand. One of those steel jokers has a red seal on it. There are 3 gold. Oh my God. And like these hands, which are scoring, it hasn't crashed the game yet, but like it can't score the hands. Like it just reaches the point where it's just like math. But when it reaches the point where it's just like math, the cards that are being played are high card. Like it's just like my hand is a high
Mhm.
card. I am breaking
Right.
the video game with high card.
Yeah.
That incredible, incredible math, miracles,
But yeah.
science.
True. Yeah.
There are 30 cards. 30 cards. No, I'm sorry. 34 cards.
In
34
hand.
motherfucking copies of Cryptid in the consumable slot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where you are. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like and wow. Okay. All right.
Hmm. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
takes half an hour. It doesn't take it. Well, no, I think this is a cut video. So like the stream I think was much longer, but like the video itself is like 37 minutes.
Oh god, and Cryptid just oh my god. Oh, here we go. It's about to happen. It's now he's
Wait,
using
hold
all
on,
those.
Brian. Before you play, do you mind just streaming it into this chat? Because I'd like to see like the live reaction if you don't mind.
Here we go.
I hope we also remember to provide a link to our viewer or our listeners, uh, and in the description of the video when it
Yeah, I
goes up
gotta
on
figure out
YouTube.
how to do that here, but I think I can.
Okay.
Right?
So we are here, and he has just used all the cryptids,
Right.
which means that the hand now has 34 steel kings with a red seal on them. And for those of you playing at home, this there's a Joker in play who is a mime, and what the mime does is he retriggers all of your held in hand effects. So if there's something that happens because the card is held in your hand, it will now happen twice. There is a different Joker, which is a Kang. He's the Kang Joker, and what he does is he gives you 1.5x molt value for every king held in your hand. And
Hmm.
he is immediately beside a blueprint Joker. Um, and that blueprint Joker copies the ability of whatever Joker is to his right. And there is beside that Joker another blueprint Joker. And this is, by the way, multiplicative, not additive. So, fucking Christ. This is like dynamiting the Hoover Dam. Um,
Yeah.
I haven't even seen this Joker yet. What is that, the Zodiac fucking killer?
Oh wait, hold on. That is. I think that is actually one of the like end game Jokers. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, because it looks like it's drawn. It's a Joker that's like drawn on a fucking napkin.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, Brainstorm. There we go. Brainstorm is a Joker that copies the effect of the leftmost Joker. Um, to buy it in store, it costs $10. It is a rare Joker, and Brian, you're not going to believe this, but to unlock this Joker, you need to discard a Royal Flush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Note to self: discard a royal flush.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and I can tell from the formatting that Perkio here is legendary, but
Yes.
is not one of the legendary Jokers I have yet encountered.
Do you want to know
Um,
what Perkio does?
what does Perkio do?
Perkio creates a negative copy of one random consumable card in your possession at the end of the shop. So what it was meant to do over the course of this
Oh wait,
run
no,
was
I
like,
have had Perkio. I have had Perkio
okay,
because okay, I'm okay. The yes, all right, which is why there were all of those cryptids here
yep,
in the consumable slot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so the way that we dynamited the dam here, folks, everybody, is that um, that we have our three multiplicative, essentially, king jokers, because we have the king
Right.
joker beside the two blueprints, but that's wired up. Jesus Christ. Um, Over here, the blueprint
Mm-hmm.
copies the ability of the leftmost joker,
Oh,
but
brainstorm. Brainstorm. But yeah.
I'm sorry, Brainstorm. Brainstorm
Yeah.
copies the ability of the leftmost joker, but what's important is that the ability of the leftmost joker is blueprint and not the king joker. So essentially, what it's doing is it copies the functionality of blueprint, becomes blueprint, which means what it's actually doing is this is now copying the mime ability. So we have this. Oh my god, the structure. Oh my god, the
Mm-hmm.
beauty. The
Seed
beauty.
scientist, man.
Oh my god, yeah. So you've got this wired up here, but because this is connected to this is now connected to this. This is oh oh oh. Why is Walgreens calling me? Sorry, that's unrelated. I mean, it might not be.
They just want to check in on you before the heart attack you're about to have.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like they see that your blood pressure is spiking, Brian. For anyone who's interested, we will post a link to this video with the episode. But this we are looking at RT Games Balatro video titled "I Broke Balatro by Scoring Infinity with Seed Science." Yeah, retrigger all held in hand abilities. God damn it, the fucking mime. So like the king, in addition to like the red seal on like these steel kings, they are also going to get an additional 1.5 from the King Joker three more time, four times, and the mime will retrigger all the held in hands, which
Yep,
will have them all go off again.
yep. So those red seals cause the card to trigger twice.
Mhm.
Um, and the mime causes all held in hand effects to trigger an additional time. So there
Mhm.
are currently 34 kings with red steel kings with red seals on them. And if you have a steel card in your hand at the end of a round, that's 1.5 times multiplicative on your score.
Right.
Um, so every one of these is, and that's a held in hand effect. And
Yep.
so, and the red seal causes that to go off twice. And
Mhm.
so now the mime causes that to go off a third time. And then, um, what's the name of this guy again? What is it?
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. And then Brainstorm is going to cause it to go off a fourth time. And so,
Actually, if I could interject here, Brian, because
yeah.
jokers are read from left to right and the copy jokers go first, it's actually going to be one from the steel, another from the red seal, another from the first copy joker, another from the second copy joker, and then the actual king joker there. And then the mime will go off, which will re-trigger a sixth time, and then brainstorm will re-trigger the copy joker in the first place, which is
Jesus
seven more times.
Christ. I what a
Mm-hmm. What a video game, right?
what a video game.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to local thunk.
Yeah, so like, oh my god, this blueprint, which is on the left most side, it's multi-classic. It's a
Yeah.
multi-classic. Yeah, it's, it gets to do two things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Actually,
I'm,
am I might be wrong, but I think the blueprint or the brainstorm will actually trigger the leftmost copy joker, which triggers the right copy joker, which triggers the king, which might actually do two more iterations. I think it might be nine times, actually.
Okay. You know what? I am gonna.
Doesn't matter. Numbers explode. We hit infinity. It doesn't. Like, that's the important part.
Yeah, that's yes. You know what? I'm gonna have to deal with this Walgreens thing after we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm now gonna hit play.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, that's the king they're taking out because that's the only standard like king I think that's still in the hand. Oh, that's right. They have to move it right because this is the true sequence. My bad.
Here we
So
go.
that one of the copy jokers now behind the mime instead of both being behind the king
Right.
joker. Well, they've hit the first like 7 kings and that's enough to win the round, but we don't care about winning the round. We're going for infinity.
Oh my
Soon
God.
the numbers in the multiplier box will just be completely unintelligible. Like you can't. Currently, you could look at them if you look at them really hard, but they're kind of just springing out, and the effect also continues until it hits infinity.
Uh,
Yeah,
oh wow.
we're almost. Yeah, the numbers are now completely outside of the multiplier box, like out of the card like calculation box, and they're just spiraling out of control.
There. Oh God.
It's peeking out from behind the actual
Hey man, I heard you like multipliers, so I put some multipliers on top of your multipliers so you can do some multiplication while you're doing some multiplication. I hope that's okay. Hey, I can't count this high. Hey guys, I can't count this high.
Oh
Hey,
my God.
this
Oh the
number's getting
beauty.
real big.
Oh. This is why video games.
This is why video games absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I will have more gravy. Oh.
No.
Oh wow. This
We're on
might
the
break
last
me.
couple kings, it looks like.
Oh.
And stop. It's broken.
Right.
Uh,
Ah!
it broke the calculator on the game. It doesn't even say a number. It literally has a maxed out like vertical red and blue box with 0 times 0, calculating that they did in fact win the round.
Holy shit.
Yeah, right? The calculator's just like, I don't know what the number is. It's 0, man. It's 0. It's okay. Just keep going. Whatever.
What, what do you want from me? Like just oh. Um okay, all right. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So Balatro
Balatro.
Balatro is a video game.
That's what I
Um
heard.
yeah, it's like what if Pope oh
I'm so happy that after all of that, the score is 0.
man.
Great job,
It's like, what if
everybody.
poker and solitaire
Great.
had a baby and then it was governed by like weird goblin Pokemon?
True.
Yeah. Oh man. Um and like let's see here. Things I they're just these revelatory I've had so much fun in the last couple of weeks, like since we last
Balatro
checked
is
in.
what poker wishes it
Balatro.
was.
I believe that
You
the last
know,
time we
number
recorded,
constantly
I
go up.
had
Yes.
completed like a run. I'd been like, I won with the blue deck. Well, since then I've had progress, listeners. Um, I have now beaten every basic deck type.
Nice.
I've completed a red deck run. I've completed a yellow deck run. I've completed a green deck run, and I've completed a black deck run. And I have, like I'm pretty good at like when I get in there, like starting like I've got like a build I try and shoot for, pretty quickly, and I'm like okay, like here's what I want to do. I've just started like really like multi-classing, because like man, because there are some times like where it will just back you into a wall and go like, hey, if you do this thing, I'm gonna tear your dick off. And I'm like, I really wanted to do that thing. And they're like, well, you can do it. You can do the thing you want to do, but I'm gonna tear your dick off if you do it. And I'm like, please don't do that. And they're like, no, that's fine, man. Do it if you want. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. They're like, that's fine. I'm gonna have to tear your dick off. And so like that is why I figured I have to at least multi-class a little. And so like as soon as I figured out the fucking power of the pair, it's
True.
in the pair hand. The pair.
Mm-hmm.
Pairs are great because they are, aside from a high card, the most common thing that you're going to have in your hand. It is possible to hold multiple pairs in your hand. Don't play two pair. Two pairs, that's a fool's game. Why play two pair when you can play a pair and then play a pair again? And there are so many jokers that benefit from playing the same hand over and over again. Like there's that one, what's it fucking called? Where it's just like add to your mult the number of times you have played this hand.
Right.
And I'm like, that's right, baby. And so you just keep on playing pair. And then there is the other one. I believe it's got like a parking sign on it. And it's like add to this the number of times you have played a hand without a face card in it. Now that one's kind of tough because obviously there's the temptation to play face cards, which are pairs. So that one's like, so you can kind of play that one, but then there's ways that you can make your pair strategy about face cards. There's a wonderful little joker who looks like a blackjack table, but it's showing cards laying out on the table, and its effect makes every card in your deck act as if it is a face card. And so like you can just start to like, Rocky, when you start to figure out Joker synergies, and when you're like, if I put these Jokers together, they cook. They make delicious ramen. They look at these Jokers the way they cook together. There is a Joker who he's just your average fuck, and like he says, I add the sale value of your Jokers to the mult.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever, little dude. That's not particularly impressive. And then there's this other Joker who says, hi, I just look like a fucking egg, but I acquire $3 of value at the end of every round.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, that's very nice, little guy. So you're saying if I grab you during round 1 of 8, you're just going to keep on stacking value? That's right, boss. And then there's another Joker named Gift Card, and what Gift Card does is it adds $1 of value to all of your Jokers and items in your consumable slots at the end of every round. So if you have 5 total Jokers, Gift Card is adding $1 value per card to all the Jokers in slots at the end of every round, which means your little egg guy grows by $4 per round instead of $3 per round. Plus, you're adding value to any other Jokers which you might have in slots. And so all of a sudden, your little guy who's like, I add to the mult the sale value of Jokers. You're just like, I am a god king. It's just like, it's incredible. Like, as soon as I've also figured out that it's harder to find chips than mult, that was a hard lesson to learn. Because there are like significantly fewer Jokers that create chips than mult. Are there other ways to make chips? Yes. You can make chips through bonus cards in the in the like the Arcana decks. So you can add chips as a bonus effect with the Arcana packs, or you can increase chips through the planet cards. But like there are significantly fewer jokers that impact your chip total. Um, oh man, that which is why like I'm way into that one Joker that looks like a bull, where he's like, "That's right, like I give you whatever the value of money you currently have in hand, like double that as I add to your chips." And like there was a run I did
Bull run,
where
maybe.
yeah, I did a bull run where like he was just like handing me like 600 fucking chips on every hand. Like, oh man, like I know I'm doing okay in Balatro. I'm just sitting there like yelling at my phone. It's my birthday over and over again. Um, oh man, it just the alchemy it encourages where you're like, what if I do this? What if I do that? And then there were jokers I was initially afraid of. I was spooked by their power. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a joker who you play it and it says that it will consume whatever joker is immediately to the right of it, and add that to um, the molt for that joker. So, but this joker like it looks like a knife. It's doing a times molt, not a plus molt. And so, what you do is you get your little egg, right? But you put your egg to the left of the knife, not the right of the knife, and you let your egg grow. You let your egg grow. And then, once your egg is adequately large, then you place the egg to the right of the knife. And you're like, oh. And now you got like this giant multiplier. And like, and I realize that there must be people listening to this or going to this, like, what the fuck are you talking about, Brian? No one cares about your little card game. But like, this thing has, like, y'all, I wake up, I work, and I'm like, oh man, I've done my work. I ate food. I think it's time for Balatro. Like, I am so deep into the Balatro. The amount of time, like, I've been doing so much Balatro. It's funny, like, so the first time I defeated a checkered deck run. Like I immediately wanted to like hop into like voice with you, Rocky, and be like, Rocky, I have to actually you on the checkered deck. Because
That's fair.
I remember the first time like I encountered the Joker, which causes hearts and diamonds to be treated the same suit, and clubs and space to be treated at the same suit.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, "There's a deck that does that." So then I got the
Sure.
checkered deck, and what the checkered deck does is very specifically not that.
That is true.
Yeah, it is 26 hearts and 26 spades. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have clubs. You don't have diamonds. And so I
Right.
remember getting the checkered deck, and like pretty soon, I I pulled in the shop the the Joker, which is like 3x molt on club cards. I'm like, yeah, here we go, baby. Next,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I was like, oh, what the fuck? But then I was like, oh, I'm like this. I'm like, but there's that. This is fascinating because like one of the things that is always like was always challenging about using that kind of like smudgy Joker on like a
Mm-hmm.
regular run is you would run into some of these boss blinds where it's like all clubs are disabled,
Right.
and
And they
and
would
because
extend to the other ones.
you would extend into spades, but
Right.
now with the checker deck you don't really have that problem because they are truly hearts, they are truly spades. They're not
Mm-hmm.
clubs or diamonds. but if you can, it's so weird because like the smudgy Joker has value on a checkered deck run, um, because you can essentially like conjure into existence, um, clubs and diamonds by virtue of making the hearts and spades into clubs and diamonds. And like, like it's so interesting that they like left that particular card in the pool for this deck type. Um, and like there is some much there is some weirder shit that you can get going on with that deck. Like it was with that deck that was the first time I got a flush house, um, which was like I was like, oh, I love encountering hands which shouldn't be possible in poker, and they're just like, yeah, that's real. Like the first time you get five of a kind, they're like, oh sure. And like once you play a hand that shouldn't exist, like once you play one of God's forbidden children, and then you like after that on the run, um, it'll start showing you that planet in the planet cards. Like the first time I saw like a series card, and it's like, oh look at that, there's one of Mars's moons. Like that's so cool. Um, like I definitely like flipped the first time I got my first black hole out of a planet pack.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
Mm.
Um, um, man, like there's just it's such a deep experience, and it's like I definitely have gotten to the point now where like um, I'm able to reliably tell whether or not I'm going to go all the way. I am going all the way now with some frequency. I
Word.
have two deck types left to beat on white stake difficulty, which is I think it's the hex deck and the
Okay.
ghost deck.
For sure.
Let me check. Let me just double check. I want to make sure I got those names right. Uh,
I remember so like there is like a scaling difficulty section where like if you pick a deck you can, you start playing for additional chips. I remember what I ended up doing when I got the checker deck. I went full on the flush gameplay, and I think I pushed it all the way to the gold chip. I'd have to double check. I might be short one, but I'm pretty sure I did get all the way there. Let
so
me
the two
just.
that I have left to defeat on white stakes difficulty
Uh
are
huh.
Magic deck, start a run with Crystal Ball and two copies of the Fool, um, and the Ghost deck, where spectral cards appear in the shop and you start with a hex card.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah.
I'm really interested to see what happens when you start touching some of the stakes. The first ones are just kind of like normal ass difficult. I know you've seen red stake by clearing white, where like small blinds don't give you money, and green after just like makes it scale faster. But black stake introduces eternal jokers, which cannot be sold or destroyed. So like you
Jesus
fully,
Christ!
yeah, right. And then another highlight is you also get access to perishable jokers at one point, which are just it could be any kind of joker, but if it's perishable, it will debuff after 5 rounds. Which also introduces the idea of potentially eternal perishable jokers, which is its own
Oh
deal.
no!
And
Oh,
I did get to gold stake, which I don't think I've cleared on the checker deck yet. Which, for the record, all these stakes apply all of the previous stakes. But the one that I'm on, which is gold stake, which is the shop introduces rental jokers, which if you add one to your like group, it means that it costs $3 per round to keep it.
oh my God!
Yeah, right.
Oh, you gotta feed the beast.
True.
Um, yeah, like like one of the things I really uh, love about it is you discover how quickly your eyes acclimate to just looking for the thing that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like I definitely discovered that I was doing shit like throwing away straights. Um, and I was like, wait a minute, why? I'm like, why am I throwing away straights? I'm like, oh, I'm throwing away straights because I want pairs.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, and like when you start getting into like that kind of just like, you know, just very, very just focused, like I'm like, no, you like that's not focused, Brian. That's inattentive. You have to figure out like, and then comes the moment where you're like, are you deep enough into your run? Because like early on in your run, if you got a straight, fucking fine, play it. Like, is it
Right.
if it's like say like first the first round and the second round, like that's
Mm-hmm.
fine, whatever. Um, but I actually lost a run yesterday
Mm-hmm.
due to hubris.
Because like I could spin this straight. It's already here. Yeah, I
No,
get that.
it was even worse than that.
Tell me.
It was a royal straight flush,
Oh
and
Jesus.
I was just sitting there going like, I'm like, look at that royal straight flush, look at that thing, and I could hear my brain go, Brian, no, that's not even as good as a pair of threes, Brian, no.
Damn, Brandon, if you had discarded it, you would have had a Perkio. You could have
Yeah,
Perkio
and
right
now,
now.
no, not the Perkio.
Yeah, the other
What's his
one.
name?
I've already
Because Perkio is
forgotten.
legendary. The one we're talking about is the not blueprint.
Oh no, Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Oh my god, I would have had
Yeah.
Brainstorm. Oh,
You would.
oh my god, I could have had the weirdo guy. But
Yeah.
I was sitting there facing the Crimson Heart, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, I was just like, why not? I'm like, Brian, why not? It's round 8. This is all we're all in it, baby. Like we're all in. And no, I had to play it. I had to play it. Um, and it's like, why? It scored 10,000. Fuck yourself. And I'm just like, god damn. And it's so like, I mean, it feels so good to play a pair of threes and watch your pair of threes score like 80, 90,000. Like, you're just like, that's
Real.
right, everybody. Like, oh, man. What a fucking video game.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky, I need to consult the official records and transcripts of the Apostle Coin podcast.
Sure.
2 years ago, did you say, Brian, you need to play this video game? This will change your life.
You know what? That sounds like something I would say, to be honest, first off. And I may have said
I
it.
don't think it was it will change your life. I think it was Brian, I think you will really enjoy this game. I think you will get all in
That
on it,
sounds.
and I think it'll do good things for you.
Yes! Tegan's right. That
Okay.
is what I actually said.
I have a great memory.
Let's go, Tegan.
Anyway.
Fantastic. Tegan Somerset, more than a face card, also a great memory.
Let's go, Tegan
Tegan
Somerset.
Somerset, count me cards.
Counting card.
But like you know, shame on me. I should have been playing. I wish I had 2 years of Balatro under my belt.
Oh, that'd be nuts. That'd be a different Brian for sure. Whoever that
Oh,
is.
oh,
But I don't know, Brian, like, for example, I had friends who were telling me that I needed to get into JJK while it was happening. Like when the first season was airing. And you know, sometimes like you know me, I don't like buying into the hype. I don't like jumping in when everyone's like excited. But there were people that I love and trust that sincerely told me that Rocky, this is for you. You were going to gain personal enjoyment and edification by watching this television show. And I was like, for sure, man. I'll get to it when I have time. And I watched it like a year and a half later. I'm like, holy shit, this is exactly for me. And they were right. You know, it happens. I totally get it.
I think what happened was I said, Rocky season 2 of JJK is coming this fall, and I would like to add it to the anime list docket. Are you going to be ready? And you went, yeah, I guess.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I guess. And it was, shit. Shit.
I should have been watching this, actually. My bad. Whew.
God.
Oh, man. Like, I like at this point, I don't even reach for the half Joker anymore.
I get that. No, it has a time and a place, dude. It has an era, man. I get it. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, because like I mean, it's kind of like training wheels for figuring out how powerful pairs are.
Yeah.
Um, you're like, oh, um, hand less than 3. You're like, I got that. I got
Yeah, I can
that.
do that.
I could do that. And then when you figure out there are like much better ways to buff your pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, what's up, Half Joker? What's up? Um, like I might pick up the Half Joker if I'm like hard up in like round 4 and all I'm getting is dog shit in the shop. Um, that special banana story.
Yeah. Gross Michelle.
Yeah.
I
So
love Michelle, dude. Shout out to Michelle. I used to clown on them. Like I read the thing, and like 1 in 6 to break. Why the fuck would I pick that up? And
I'll
then
tell
like,
you why, everyone. You want that fucker to break. You want it to break. You grab that banana.
Listen, let's do it
And
now.
you're like, bust on me, banana, and the banana bust on you, and then
Jesus.
you'll be hanging out in shop like maybe 3 rounds later, whatever, 4 rounds later. You want that banana to bust as quick as possible, really, and then you're like, ooh, Cavendish, good sir. And it's like, is that an X3 malt? You're like, yes, I am an X3 malt. And it says 1 in 1,000 chance to break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oh man, Gross Michelle is an investment. You want it to
Mm-hmm.
explode so that way you can have Cavendish present later.
True.
Oh man, oh man. Um, and like how many Jokers do I not have at this point? Because like I still man, sometimes my ass still feels like Little Mermaid. I'll be out there like, what have I not seen? Holy shit!
Well, there are 150 total Jokers in the game.
Yes,
But 105 are unlocked from the start, and there are 45 unlockable over the course of the game.
um, I have 121 Jokers.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 29.
yeah, man. Like, but there are Jokers that I would dismiss before. I'm like, why would I want that Joker? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, I'm like, popcorn. You can hold me up while I'm building the Jokers I actually need. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can sit like because there's so like popcorn is really good for building money. Um,
Right.
because you win quickly, which means you get your money for having winning the round in as few hands as possible. And so you can just start stacking interest. And so when you see those like rare jokers in shop, which like cost like $10, and so that way you're just like whatever, like come here, $10 joker. Um, like it's things you want to do in that game. You want to stack money as quickly as possible, and so anything that lets you win quick in like the early rounds, like the seltzer bottle or the popcorn, um, those are good because that leads to money, and money means that you can take those big swings. You can be like, all right, um, man, like a chance to like, oh, I've got 2 planet packs in this round. I'm going to grab both planet packs. Like, man, there, um, the like I had completely written off the value of the red card Joker. And I was like, why the fuck would I want the red card Joker? And when I got to the point where I was just like, I would open a pack of anything. I was like, oh, look, a pack of cards, whatever. And then just like not select anything from it. So that way I was buffing my red card. Um, you definitely start to do shit that feels weird and feels counterintuitive. And like that, I think that's part of what's exciting. Like, I love opening packs to know that I'm going to throw everything away because that's the thing that makes my red card so good. Um, Crazy.
One thing that I'm looking at again, because I'm looking at the list of Jokers right now, and some of the unlock requirements are very counterintuitive but really interesting gameplay wise. There is a Joker. Well, like there's Jokers for like the face cards. And one of them is called Hit the Road, right? And its effect is that the Joker gains zero point 0.5 mult every time a Jack is discarded this round, starting at 1. But to unlock it, you have to discard 5 Jacks at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's another one that's also a really rare Joker, the Invisible Joker, that after 2 rounds, you can sell the Invisible Joker to duplicate a random Joker. It does remove negative from whatever copy you get, so you can't use it that way. But to unlock it, you need to win a game while never having more than 4 Jokers.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That, mm, that. At this point, that's tough. Like,
Yeah, I hear that.
I can get close, but like, I definitely had to like have 5 each time. Um, that hit the road. I think I could get that pretty easily.
For sure.
Yeah, because that's just a measure of like you get the Joker. You get like 3 Jokers in hand with a copy of like the of Death and the Fool in your consumables.
Oh, that
And then
works. Yeah.
yeah, and then oh 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 fucking video games,
Actually,
y'all.
one thing I'm thinking about, I'm gonna pivot here, because I understand your trepidation of like worrying about winning a game without having more than 4 Jokers, and that reminds me a bit of the stuff that's going on in Rabbit and Steel. Like this Rabbit and Steel definitely has several like achievements in them, and most of them unlock like new toys and whatnot. But there are a significant like swath of achievements that are tied to these little trinkets that you can take with you on a run. And there is a new set of trinkets in this DLC that will disable one of your 4 abilities while you're like playing the game. And the like final set of like trinkets, including like the ability to change like your levitation circle, which the new levitation circles look pretty cool, require you to master navigating the game while like not having access to all of your abilities, which seems to suggest that this isn't like a pain point specifically, like to like satisfy like a developer's like sadism, but
Right.
a new dimension of gameplay that we're asked to explore and discover. I'm
Like,
personally looking forward to it. I have no answers for how we're going to get there, but I've seen some things like when they introduce certain like items and tools that will like give you outlandish like benefits in exchange for access to one of your abilities. And I wonder if like that interplay is like part of the answer. It doesn't feel like the full answer, to be honest, because like losing a full ability, especially some of them like that are integral to like a class's kit, is a big deal. But I'm looking forward to taking it
it makes me
apart.
want to talk about one of the mechanics of the game that I haven't really spent a lot of time fucking around with yet, which is the
Hmm.
mechanic of skipping blinds.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, like and like I recognize like if there is a whole risk reward thing because like okay, you skip a blind, that's one less blind to die on. But every time you beat a blind, you're making money, you're getting time in the shop,
Mhm.
you're building out your your loadout. You're like, okay, like what are my jokers? Like what are my consumables? Um, and like I know that there's the tags which provide benefit to like the skipped blind, where you're like, okay, if you skip this particular blind, you get this reward. And I'm like, oh, and some of those rewards are like pretty cool. Like next Joker in the shop has polychrome and
Yeah.
costs $0. And it's like, oh, that's a pretty good fucking benefit. Um, so like it's like it seems to be what they're anticipating that you'll do is like some mix of like playing blinds and sometimes skipping. And I'm like, there have got to be jokers for skipping every possible blind you could skip. Um,
Mm.
um,
I wonder.
it just seems to be like with 29 jokers left to unlock, I'm sure that there's got to be like a you know beat beat around in like 10 or beat around in 12 or something where you're skipping most of the blinds. Um,
Uh, Actually, I don't. I'm not seeing that as a condition, at least for the 150 that I'm looking at. The closest thing is like throwback, but that's not like an unlock requirement. It's just like its effect is that you get a increased like multiplied mult for each blind skipped on a run. I don't know if you have it already, but I'm pretty sure you might.
yeah, yeah, like it's I am fully locked in on Balatro.
Oh yeah.
Um, like it is play Balatro until the wheels come off at night and I like fall asleep with like a run in my hand. Like it is like oh man, video games.
Glad you're having
Um,
fun.
yeah. Um, I also have been playing Date Everything.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you met Michael Transaction.
I did meet my oh yeah because Steam is also a social network. Um, I posted a picture of meeting Michael Transaction on my Steam page.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Michael Transaction is hilarious. Um, like the first time I encountered him, he was like, "Hi, I'm Michael Transaction," and he kind of like walked through his spiel. The second time I encountered Michael Transaction, when I approached him, they had a different art for the character where he was facing away from me, and it's because he was on the phone talking to his kids. It was just like, hey, he was like, hey, like come on, you can't hit your sister. That's right. That's not what big brothers do. Okay. And I'm like, what is going on here? So then I started talking to Michael. Uh, once he realized it was there, come to find out, Michael Transaction, he's divorced. Uh, only gets to see his kids on the weekend. I'm like, are you
Really,
kidding
this
me?
guy?
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm like getting into like the lore on Michael Transaction, um, and uh, Michael Transaction explains that like, and I was like, how can you have kids? Like you're a concept. You're the concept of a microtransaction. How can you have children? And he explains like, oh yeah, well, um, you know, inanimate objects, concepts. The way we have children is that they come into existence um, like when a new concept is created. And I was like, wow. So I'm like, you're Michael Transaction, so you must be pretty young. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm pretty darn young. And then he's like, my mother was the roulette wheel. Um, oh no. But there are in fact mechanics that got added to Date Everything as a result of Michael Transaction. Um, because every day that passes in the game, I acquire 5 money and I can then go to microtransaction, and I can exchange money for grundles, and then I can use grundles to pull for gear. And so far, I have 5 common pairs of socks. But I can then, um, if I get 100 of those socks, I can then use them to craft legendary gauntlets. Um, but the socks that I have right now currently like very mildly buff all of my stats in the game. And so like I could just keep on stacking these socks for a stats buff. Because I have now encountered like dialogue choices in Date Everything that require certain stats in certain categories to be at a certain level. And it's just like, oh yeah, you're not here yet. Like, oh, so there's definitely like strategy to like, who do you woo first? Because some of the relationships are easier than other relationships. Um, so it's like, okay, like this person needs somebody who has more sass and empathy. So let me go like complete a relationship where I will get a sass point, added to my stats. Um, it's it it's crazy time. I finished the plot associated with the Dommy Mommy safe.
All right.
Yeah, and so once you reach the end of her story, she's like, "Oh wow!" She's like, "Now I know I can be emotionally vulnerable with you, which means I don't just have to be a Dommy Mommy. I can open myself up to you." See, she's a safe.
Right.
And so the safe popped open to reveal Monique, who
Mm-hmm.
is money, um, is a stack of cash. Um, and I Monique just fell in love with me because I was able to demonstrate fiscal responsibility. Uh, so here I fell in love with my couch. Uh, Koa, he's kind of like this whole like got like a Hawaiian print to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Koa, like he largely communicates by dozing off and taking little naps, but he likes to present presents. He's like, my culture enjoys presenting presents, and so I've gotten like little bits of popcorn and chips that were found between the couch seats. Um, and he told me he wanted to take things to the next level by presenting a dusty candy heart that said "I love you," which had been left between his seats. Um, see here, I dated the the lipstick on my um, counter in the bathroom, which turns out to be a guy named Barry Styles, who has uh, huge memory problems. Really, I feel like he needs to go to a neurologist. But the game just wants you to be patient with his memory issues. Like, if somebody has memory issues this bad, they need to go see somebody.
Is that like a
Uh,
reference to something? Like, did they used to put lead in lipstick or something? Like, what am I thinking of?
I don't even know why he's like that. Dated my mirror, uh, very supportive fellow named Amir. Um, dating the Slack app in my phone. Uh, uh, and I love whenever I find like a very, very like obscure um, dateable. Like the first time I got pounced by Nightmare, I was like, ah! Um, and like it is normally completely random whenever you encounter Nightmare, except uh, if the last regular dateable you talk to in the day is coffee, then that will trigger encountering Nightmare. Um, and think I'm halfway through the story of the ghost in the attic. If you go to the attic after you're your glasses no longer have any charge in them for the day, and put on your glasses, which in theory are useless at this point, um, at like midnight, uh, then you will be able to see the ghost in the attic. And so I'm wooing the ghost in the attic. Um, I helped her find a pendant that is helping her anchor herself to this reality. That pendant was inside the time capsule I found in the crawl space under the house. Um, but it's like I am. This is one of the largest dating sims I've ever encountered, and it's not just because of like the number of characters, but like I guess I didn't anticipate this much mechanical and narrative complexity.
Okay.
Especially in something which presents itself as just kind of like a horny comedy goof. Um, so neat.
Word.
Because it is a horny comedy goof. But it's also like, all right, figure out what order you're going to date these in, and you have to like map out like what are you going to do. Like this character wants to see you on Tuesday, so what are you going to do until then, and like what do you need your stats to be by the time you go see them? Uh, like at one point, like Monique told me, like, don't come see me until next Tuesday, and so like, all right, and it's for the game, it's like Thursday, and so to figure out what to do like each day, and um, it's a tightrope, especially if you're trying to do stuff like hit all the collectibles, find all the hidden items. Like I just started dating the dust bunny from behind my couch, um, and like it took me a while to find her, because in order to do so, like I had to push my couch a little bit, which was not really something I realized I could do for a while. But yeah, it's fun. Like, have either of you dipped into date everything?
No.
Nope.
Okay, it's a good time. And it is a voice cast which is just rotten with like games community and YouTuber people.
I am
I
aware of
won't hold
that.
that against it. Yeah, but God, I've been going on forever. What are y'all playing?
Mostly Rabbit and Steel. Not gonna lie, that's mostly what I've been playing. Trying to get through extra mode, that kind of thing. Actually, I'm just trying to get through normal mode. I lied. I'm not very good at the game, but that's okay. I'm getting better every day.
Keep
That's the
saying
important
that.
thing. I'm getting better every day, and that's the important thing. No one starts out
Tegan,
good at
didn't
the
you get an
game.
achievement yesterday that only 4% of players have? Like, come
Yeah,
on.
but didn't I get that because you carried my dead corpse through several levels?
No, Tegan, we both like struggled through it. I hadn't done that segment before.
I don't know.
I know. That's why I'm saying it out loud.
So anyway, we have the Pyromancer now, which is one of the new classes, one of the 4 new classes that just dropped when extra mode dropped. And I had a really good run on Dancer earlier, where I got a piece of loot that, hang on, I got excited and I sent the build to Alex right before I picked up this last piece, so it was very fun. I got the handmade charm, which what it does is every 8 seconds it deals 70 damage and applies a random debuff to all enemies for 5 seconds. My special attack, I had Ruby on, which inflicts burn, which is a debuff. I had the Witch's Cloak, which made my secondary deal 10% more damage, and debuffs I placed deal 70% more damage while increasing my movement speed. And then I picked up the Artist's Smock, which moderately increases movement speed, and when a debuff you apply wears off, has a 50% chance to deal 120 damage and apply a copy of that debuff.
Jesus.
And then, like, right after it, I picked up the curse, the Raven Grimoire, which lets your special apply curse. So my special was applying 2 debuffs. It was a good time. I ended up maxing out at about 1400 DPS, which I think is the highest solo DPS I've done.
Hell yeah. Remember, go Burr. I think an extra mode hard clear will be on the horizon, like in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I could
I'm
see
excited
that.
to see what happens next. We definitely cleared two of the new zones on hard, so we got to figure out the third, and then like the looping hallways generally is like seems to be like the victory lap round, and then it's just figuring out the final boss.
And then it's going to be, I guess, working on a lunar clear of the main part? Question mark?
I think I would want to turn my attention to lunar on like the standard or like the base game,
the base game
and then
first.
maybe lunar on extra.
God, it's gonna be terrifying. I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah,
Emotionally,
who knows?
physically.
We'll get there when we get there. It's gonna be cool though. Like it's gonna be like we're like I think the cycle has been within my expectations. Where like we play something where we get on a stage where like or a series of mechanics happens, a collection of mechanics happens. I don't know. What do you call a collection of mechanics? Does it have a noun? We'll deal with that later. Anyways, there will be a bunch of mechanics that will happen on screen at once, and then we'll all like die to it or something, and we'll be like, "What the fuck?" And then
Yeah,
like
we're
we
just
have
like,
to sit down.
it's just like, wait a minute, hang on. Rocky, record this next run and then tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, well, like we record and then we're like looking at it, it's like, okay, I think this happens and then maybe this, and then we iterate and then try again, and then we like push through. And then, eventually we learn the dance and it doesn't hurt anymore.
My favorite thing
like
that we're currently getting stuck on is there's a it's one of those circles within a circle. And then two beams come across it to divide the circle into quarters, and everyone has to move around the circle without getting hit. But you also have to move into designated spaces that say how many people can stay in that space. And if the wrong amount of people are there, everybody takes damage. And what happens is, somehow we get messed up on who is supposed to go where. When really the only thing we have to do is designate who's going into the empty space, and then everyone else can figure it out based off of that person.
Okay. I've personally been resistant to the idea, but
I know you're personally resistant to that idea, but the thing is, like, the circles move every single time. So if you just go, I want to end up in the top left quadrant, the top left quadrant doesn't always have a thing to end up in. And so if that's what you're going for, and then like your secondary is something that someone else will be moving into, you're going to screw it up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hello, Nico. Nico says hello.
Man. I'm almost certain that the like circles where you need to have a certain number of people in them that requires some sort of movement beforehand so that you end up in them, that's gonna be in like the hard mode or the lunar clear for like the final like underground boss lady. Like there's no way those aren't gonna be there.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like them, but they're gonna be there. I will maybe cry.
I'm used to them. I've seen like a lot of mechanics like that. There was one of those in the last tier where like or in Final Fantasy where like you have to split the party in half, and the half of the party had to resolve these kind of like circles that you had to get into, and you had to like fight something inside of it during that time, while the other four had to resolve cleaves that would go through the stage. But you need to point the cleaves in a way that doesn't hit the people inside the circles on the outside. And so like you had to be careful about where you're placing these cleaves, and some of them were really wide. So there were like prescribed spots. And they're role based, if I remember correctly. Like DPS get targeted by certain cleaves. A healer the healer gets a specific kind of cleave, and the tank gets a different cleave. And they all deal like near lethal damage. And so if you put the ones in the wrong spot, you're just going to kill someone else.
I'm looking forward to killing everybody multiple times. I will be hunting you for sport, not on purpose. Not on purpose. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Not on purpose. I'm so sorry. And then we'll all die, and I'll be like, I'm sorry. And you'll be like, why are you apologizing? I'll be like, I killed everybody. And you'll be like, no, you didn't. I'll be like, sure. You're wrong. I watched that game as well as you did, and I know it was my fault.
It's chill because corpses still count for mechanics.
Yeah,
so
corpses count for mechanics. Don't forget if there's a corpse there, it counts. Figure it out.
It counts. You can't skip it.
Play around the corpse.
Oh man. Play around the corpse. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes it's just what it is.
God. What a time. Ravenstill's a good game. It is a great raid simulator, I will say. I wish some of the fights that I've been doing in Final Fantasy have an overhead view where I can see the lines on the floor more clearly, you know?
Yeah, that gets trickier. But like it's very funny where like as you like figure out what the mechanics are asking you to do, like when you start doing them, you realize you're actually standing on a marked spot on the floor that's part of like the tapestry, and it's always a funny like realization where it's just like, oh right, there's lines on the floor.
Oh yeah, that's so, why that's here, huh?
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. It's funny every time it happens to me. Like it's just like I've been dodging this. Okay, I got to stand in this quadrant. Oh, there's a thing here.
I wonder if, like, in the previews for these fights, if you can see the floor ahead of time, if some of those world first people ever just spend time looking at the floor and being like, what does this mean?
I imagine it's never become widespread based on what I've seen. Like, usually people talk about like the mechanics and they'll talk about the zones, but they won't really like even like on explainers and stuff. They won't tell you like look for this like marker where you're supposed to stand. Although sometimes it's like a footnote, but it's rarely like the game changing effect that I'd hope it'd be.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we just need different people doing the explainers, you know?
Maybe that could be cool. I mean, I need someone to kick Mr. Happy off because I hate that guy, personally. But that's a whole other thing. We don't have time for that. It's already the Zelda 40th anniversary and a big shakeup at Microsoft. Microsoft.
Yeah, at Microsoft.
We're 2 hours in.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do we want to do? Oh wait, hold on. I have a gentleman I have to let in. Excuse me.
Lux has opinions. I know he does.
Hey, dude. Yeah, man. Welcome in.
He's so well traveled and also informed.
Scratching at the door. What a clown. Yeah, man.
Where to start? I would like to start because I feel like inevitably we're going to spend some time on the Microsoft business.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start with a good old fashioned bash.
Okay.
Hello. Did you know that in celebration of Pokemon's 30th anniversary, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Now you might think that it would be coming as part of Nintendo's expanded online pack, which supports
that would make sense.
Game Boy Advance games. What if I were to tell you that's not the case?
That sounds like the Pokemon Company to me, so I'm not surprised at all. That sounds par for the course of Nintendo Pokemon fans. You know?
Mm-hmm.
How much are they charging for it?
$20 will get you either Fire Red or Leaf Green. Is there a discount for buying both? No, there is not.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right. And somehow Nintendo is the least of three evils right now. Isn't that wild?
Well, they are apparently a functioning company.
Yeah, I mean, apparently that's all you have to be right now.
It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest.
They also did not say shit. They did not say shit about the 40th anniversary of Zelda. Nothing at all. Not a.
Yeah, that's true.
Not a not a Twitter post, not a discount page, not a highlight. Absolutely nothing. My Nintendo Today app didn't even default to the Zelda theme, like, for the 40th anniversary of Zelda. So
anniversaries only are meaningful if we have product to push as a result of them.
yeah. Here's the thing: they could have revealed a new character for the movies. You know, it wouldn't even had to be Ganon. They could have just confirmed that lady we saw was Impa, and people would have been like, "Woo!" You know.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing. Crickets. So, like, that sounds like Nintendo being Nintendo.
What are we, a year out on that movie? That's what, next
Yeah,
year?
Yeah, March.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want the record to reflect that my hopes are not high. You know? I want the record to reflect that if that movie is bad, I knew it. You know? I want to be known that if the movie is bad, I knew.
For sure.
Anyway, go on. Continue the bash.
Let the record reflect that my hopes are significantly higher than Tegan's.
Yeah.
The record so shall reflect.
Yeah. There, like, it feels like there's so much, like, risk averse cynicism to Nintendo's identity now. Like, the closest thing I've seen them doing anything weird is that for the Virtual Boy games, which are now part of, Nintendo Switch Online, expanded plus mega version, you can't just, like, play them on your television or sitting there in handheld mode. They really do want your ass to slide it either into a fake plastic Virtual Boy or a cardboard Virtual Boy. That's the closest thing I can think of to an old school Nintendo ass Nintendo move. Like, everything else is just like just rooted in, like, okay, like, hey everybody, what are our top very incredibly safe IPs? Mario and variations thereof, and Zelda. Like, I really think that the only reason that we ended up getting that, like, Metroid Prime game is that it had been announced and therefore they were committed for years. Like, I don't think that, like, any new Metroid is going to be getting greenlit anytime soon. Like that is a Mario and Zelda company now. I guess at Animal Crossing.
And Splatoon. Splatoon's
yeah.
on the outside of the Nintendo store. It's Mario,
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda, and Kirby, and Splatoon.
There it is.
Those are the guys.
They're yeah, I guess that's our pillars. Like, and Smash Brothers is just like the graveyard of abandoned franchises.
Well, like, they might get someone to do it. I imagine they're still trying to get Sakurai or someone on their team to take on the helm. But it just straight up is so much work that they just had Sakurai do. And, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in their offices, but it very much seems like they don't know who's making the next Smash right now, so they're not going to talk about it.
No, what I was saying is that Smash Brothers conceptually is a graveyard of abandoned franchises.
Oh, I don't believe that at all. What are you talking about?
I don't think that's true either, because, like, Fire Emblem still gets a game. Like,
Fire Emblem's popularity actually exploded after
Three Houses
Smash Bros. Came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, not even just Three Houses. Like, I gotta look at the timeline again, but I'm pretty sure, like, Sacred Stones was, like, the first, like, Western successful Fire Emblem game off of, like, the popularity of, like, Marth. Like, I
Yeah,
have to
because
check the dates,
everyone
but I'm
went,
pretty
"Who's
sure.
this guy? Like,
Right.
can I know who this guy is? What's his deal?"
Yeah. And like, Smash Bros. Like, albeit we didn't get like exactly what we wanted out of it, but it did lead to a resurgence of like Earthbound as like a property. And like I can't say that like Nintendo has like honored that interest. I can earnestly say that I don't think like something like Undertale would have ever have been as
Mm-hmm.
big if like Smash Bros like didn't get people thinking about Earthbound again. Um I do think that like Nintendo is like teasing a bunch of like IP, and it's kind of like I feel like it's more of like a lab for them to like test interest, to see what pops afterward. But even then, they were like at least with the latest iteration, like Ultimate, they were taking popular like franchises that existed out where elsewhere in the world and like pump them into Smash. Fuck, no, hold on. Even like not Fatal Fury. No, I'm stupid. Is it Fatal Fury? That's the one that Terry came
Yeah,
from, right?
that's
Like
Fatal Fury.
Fatal Fury just got a new video game. Like the first time in like fucking 10, 15, 20 years or some shit. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think Smash is where franchises go to die. I think there's a lot of things that actually got a significant bump from just showing up in Smash. And like, that's not nothing. It's definitely not a perfect world for sure. But like, that's not a death sentence.
Okay, all right, and I'll buy that for $1. Like,
Okay.
it could very well be that I'm being a little too grim on it, and that the reality just lies somewhere in between. Um,
Maybe so.
but I guess I just wish, like, I just want more weird Nintendo, less cynical Nintendo. There's something really shitty about wheeling out these 20-year-old GBA games
Yeah.
to be like, and being like, hey, you want to play these 20-year-old GBA games? Well, fuck you. Give us $20. Like, just
I mean, yeah, that's dumb for sure. And like it's even dumber that like the versions of like Fire Red Leaf Green that they inevitably use will likely not be anything that they initially developed in house. Like they're probably going to take an emulator from somewhere and a ROM that they download from someplace and then upload it to their servers
oh
as
yeah.
their work, even with some polish. You know what I mean? And that sucks for sure. But like man, there is a laundry list of reasons why I don't really fuck with Pokemon, the Pokemon Company anymore. And like I want Nintendo to do like the weird stuff again. And the good news is that the weird stuff is still happening. The bad news is that it's a little harder to find. It is what it is, for sure. Actually, there was something I sent you the other day. I've seen write ups about this like weird match 3 puzzle like game called
Oh, are you talking about Titanium Court?
Titanium Court. Yes. And I wanted to put it on your radar. I don't know if you got to touch it or look at anything about it, but like I feel like there are Titanium Courts happening like every day. Not
Oh,
like
sure.
in
Right, right.
specific, but like in
Yeah,
general, you know?
yeah, and like, yes, like, and like, I guess that's the point. Is if I want weird and fascinating now, um, like I should not go knock on Nintendo's door. I guess is the point.
Right. Yeah.
If I Yeah, like, because Nintendo is not going to like give me a Titanium Court or a Balatro or a Date Everything, um, because they're like, hey, look, in this game, um, it's it's Mario Pizza Cookers, Mario,
Right.
Luigi, and Peach running a pizza shop. Um, Wait, that already sounds more interesting than like at least 70% of the Mario output.
I get
Um,
that.
yeah.
I think
Uh,
some of it is just a problem with new leadership. You know,
I could believe
nobody
that.
wants to be responsible for being the person who sank the boat. You know,
Hmm.
Nobody
And
wants to be
like
responsible for the boat making the exact same amount of money that it made last quarter. Because
also that.
number not go like if numbers stay same, you are failure. Number half go up. Like ugh, uh,
I don't know, man.
uh,
Like I mean, I get that. And personally, again, my position is that I've ended up just divesting largely, you know? Like I put my money elsewhere to that are feeding the needs that I have because there are people who are trying to feed my needs, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I
Yeah,
want
there
to make
are.
sure they get my money.
Yeah. And like if Nintendo wants to be a part of that conversation, then like, you know, we can talk about it. But like they're like this kind of like half-ass like bullshittery that they've been doing, and they are juggling their own responsibilities. Like there was an interesting point about the Fire Red Leaf Green re-release that I had not considered once I heard the news, which is that one of the things that may bother the Pokemon Company is giving the competitive scene access to save states through an official channel, and that's a door that they don't want to open for various reasons. And that part definitely makes sense to me. There are concerns in like VGC already where they have to check Pokemon to verify that they're legitimate because they are otherwise without flaw. But even including the flaws that like the characters or the Pokemon that are initially designed with. And some of that is player ingenuity for sure, but some of it is just straight up cheating. And like allowing Nintendo to like potentially redefine what cheating looks like in their competitive scene is probably something the Pokemon Company would not openly abide. And so they end up in a weird half measure like this. I don't forgive them for it, but I understand. I see what's happening. And like I've decided that it's not my problem and I'll get my monster catching fix elsewhere.
Okay, let's just assume all of those motivations are exactly as we thought there. That like the
Sure.
reason that they're putting it up in the store instead of making it part of their online suite is
Hmm.
concerned about like the competitive scene and that market and destabilizing that market.
Sure.
Then allow me to present you um, a way to solve that, which makes Nintendo and I guess the Pokemon Company look like heroes. Um,
Interesting.
Available today for members of Nintendo Switch Online, you can download Fire Red or Leaf Green from the store for free. So you still have it be a thing that exists outside of the online app, which means that you're not like so your concerns about destabilizing um, the competitive market like those aren't in play. It's still so.
Sure.
But what it does is it does a check to see like, oh, are you a member of this service? Great. Now you can go download the game for free from the store.
I agree that that'd be a huge consumer win, but then you have the shareholders yelling at you. You know what I mean? And like, I haven't seen a single publicly traded company that is openly willing to provoke the anger of the shareholders.
It's like, well, shareholders who either recognize the value proposition that we're offering through our online service or not. The thing that we use to
Right.
drive people to the online service is the promise of being able to play retro games. This falls within that silo.
Sure.
Um, and like Nintendo has yes, Nintendo has had activist investors in the past, but like
Hmm.
their their earnings calls are not generally populated by people screaming, "Why am I not making $1 billion in dividends?"
Maybe
Um,
so. Yeah.
yeah, like that seems like something that somebody somewhere could have answered on an earnings call. Um,
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah, um, or like hell, even if they wanted to do like some token amount,
Sure.
um, like $1, um, like it's the way they went about it is and that's the thing which I think is kind of stupefying about Pokemon in specific is
Hmm.
Pokemon continues to be the worst possible decision after the worst possible decision. Like, let's just
I
continue to
think
release look like a hammered dog shit. Let's not address issues with like um, anti-competitive reselling on the market. Like scalpers are not being stopped at all. Um,
right.
yeah, like it just
Honestly, that one I don't want to like minimize Nintendo's involvement here, but like they do not hold all the cards, and like the people that holds most of them is definitely the Pokemon Company, and all of that sounds like good for business for them, bad for consumers. Like even if Nintendo takes the heat for it as opposed to the Pokemon Company, that's also good for them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in those meetings, you know. I don't have true visibility into the situation, but the most salient answer to why things are like this is because someone wants them to be and they have the power to make it so.
Yeah. Gross.
True.
Gross.
Mhm. Before we wade into Microsoft here, I do want to talk about Tegan's new favorite enemy. Tegan, do you mind sharing with us?
Yeah. I have an enemy now. My enemy is FedEx. FedEx is my enemy. All my homies hate FedEx.
Fed up, what I said.
I ordered from online retailer the Hatsune Miku 1/7 scale Art Deco goddess statue. Very excited about it, right? It's beautiful. I've shown it on the show before. It released in December, and after months of waiting, she finally arrived. And FedEx, in their delivery of her, punched a hole in the side of the box that punched a hole in the side of the box that was packaged inside that box, and broke one of her twin tails. So my after tariffs and shipping and handling and fees and everything, my $350 figure is broken. And I'm sad about it because I can't display her now.
That sucks.
I know it sucks. If I was a box collector, I'd be pissed. I'd be like livid. And the worst thing is because it's an international delivery, I can't file a complaint. Only the sender can file a complaint. So I had to contact the sender and send all the pictures, including a screenshot where FedEx cleverly positioned the box so that the damage to the box was away from the delivery notice. But when I opened my front door and saw it on the porch, there was just a hole in the box. So now I'm waiting for a resolution on what's going to happen with my figure.
What do you expect?
I don't know, is the thing. I've never had this happen before. I've never had a figure delivered with FedEx either. Usually DHL does my figure deliveries. And they do a great job because they duct tape the shit out of the boxes. They get the box, it's all packaged all nicely from the sender, and then they like bubble wrap the whole box itself, and then they duct tape the whole box itself shut, and then they put the shipping label on top of the outside duct tape. So like that box is secure. But that's not what happened this time. It's really a bummer. So I don't know what's gonna happen. When there is a resolution, I'll let everybody know. I expect they'll probably like maybe refund me the shipping cost, and maybe I don't know if they'll be able to send me just a replacement part for the hair that's broken or what, because I've never had this happen before. But I don't think they'd want to send me a whole new figure, you know?
Is the sender like actually like Good Smile? Or
No,
is
it's
third party?
It's Ami Ami.
Okay.
And they're usually pretty good, so that's why it's like. But I've never had an issue, so I don't know.
For sure.
They might order a replacement
Brian,
from Good Smile though for me, so.
Hell yeah. I included some images of the figure in this chat if you wanted to see them, Brian.
She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Look at her. Oh my god. And her hair on the left side in a couple places where it like reattaches to itself. It's been snapped apart, so it does not actually sit the way it's supposed to sit. It's all like hanging down and very wiggly now. So I'm really bummed about it.
Let the record so reflect that a small piece of Brian is extra sad here because of his 8.5 years of employment at FedEx.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's just frustrating. I wish there was something I could do about it, you know? Alex has also worked at FedEx before, so like and like they deliver other stuff for me and that ends up fine. It's just I don't know what happened here, but I can't do anything about it directly, so I have to wait on someone else to do it. You know?
Did I ever tell you guys I think this is Weed's story?
No?
Okay. No. So I was working at FedEx. It was before I had climbed up the ladder out of being in a store day to day. I was the assistant manager of a FedEx in North Phoenix. Somebody comes in, drops off a package, and he's like, "Yeah, this package has cookies in it." And I was like, "Cookies, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, cookies." And I accept the package. The package is warm to the touch. I was like, "Why is the package warm, sir?" He's like, "Yeah, I've got some heat, heat packs in there to keep the cookies warm. I want the cookies to arrive warm when my friend gets them." I'm like, "Uh-huh. Okay." And I smelled the package and I was like, is this marijuana? Is this marijuana? And this was before I had a clear understanding that if you are suspicious of a package, you are not supposed to open the package. There are people you're supposed to call. And I was like, I'm going to open this package. And I was like, I'll get ready. I'm going to open this box. So I took the box into the box receiving area, put it on a table in front of me, grabbed my box cutter, opened the package, and looked down. Sure enough, I see the heating packs that he described. And beneath the heating packs, there's a large cheesecloth. And so then I reached down and I touched the cheesecloth, and I could feel the cheesecloth move. And I withdraw my hand as quickly as possible from the box. At which point the cheesecloth rises. So it looks like is a little ghost rising out of the box.
Is it a snake?
At which point I go, "Oh no!" And I run from the room and I close the door behind me and I call the guy on the phone who dropped off the box. And I'm like, "Those aren't cookies." And he comes, and I'm like, "Sir," I'm like, we have a live animal desk. If you want to ship a live animal, you have to consult live animal desk.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, the reason I didn't consult live animal is because live animal won't accept this.
Oh,
like,
fuck.
Why won't they accept it, sir? Why won't they accept it? He's like, "Yeah, FedEx won't take venomous snakes."
God fucking damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
So now you just had a venomous snake in the back. I can't even say those words.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So it fortunately the snake was kind of drowsy, and so after I left the room, he just like curled back up in the box, in his cheesecloth. But very confusing and scary for Mr. Snake.
Sure, yeah.
But part of the reason why the box was so heavy is that this particular venomous snake is the only venomous snake in the world that is both venomous and a crushing snake, like a boa or an anaconda.
Oh my god! Like, neat.
Yeah, so it's a venomous crushing snake.
Neat.
Yeah, and yeah, and man took that snake away. Because will not accept absolutely convinced of what he did. He just like drove it to a different fucking FedEx location.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
at least it was no longer my problem. Um, oh, oh, um,
Live
man.
animal won't take this one. That's why I said it was cookies. It was like, oh, cool story, dude. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, uh, man. God, some of the stories I could tell y'all from my FedEx days. Jiminy Christmas. The
I
time the
remember.
Bob Squad showed up. Um,
I feel like that would happen a lot.
it doesn't happen nearly as much as you think. And the reason is because you kind of get used to stories like this. Someone thought there was a bomb. They're they're like, I hear buzzing and ticking inside of the package, and the package has a smell. Um, and so the bomb squad got called about the buzzing and ticking and the smell. And so they sent in the fucking robot, the bomb destroying robot,
Mm-hmm.
um, which deployed its little it has like a battering ram it uses.
Okay.
Well, once the robot has made a determination of or I guess once the bomb guy who's piloting the robot, it's like, oh, I think it's this kind of bomb. So they use the little battering ram on the package, and it turned out that what was inside of the package was it was somebody who had been vacationing in Arizona, and they were getting on their flight to go back home, and some of the stuff that they had bought while they were here, souvenirs, they put in a box to ship back home because they didn't have enough room on the plane, and it included a novelty Arizona alarm clock, uh, which was the clicking, um, and the buzzing uh, was a wind up toy of a little cactus that looks like a cowboy. Apparently, somebody had put it into the package not fully unwound, and the smell was yes salsa. So a alarm clock got destroyed in a large bottle of fancy salsa.
Tragic.
Yeah, so that's why um, there's less calling of the bomb squad because you're like, well, it's probably salsa, um, which is a weird thing to say. Um, Fortunately, I have never died to salsa or bombs, but anyway, it's a weird company to work for.
I
Um,
hear that.
but before we get to the big, big, big topic, do you want to mention briefly a weird small thing? Have either of y'all heard of Game Tank?
I don't
No?
think so.
Um, Game Tank is a new 8-bit console. Uh,
Okay.
not, yeah, not a FPGA of an existing old retro console.
Okay.
It is let's design architecture to create a new 8-bit console, um, which will have its own constraints for graphics and sound, and so it'll have its own signature look. And the developer idea is, people long for those singular aesthetics and singular sounds, of the cartridge gaming era. Uh, so let's create a new signature, 8-bit cartridge based vibe. Um, and unlike most people who go to um, crowdfunding, um, they have already done um, the meaningful work and have answers to questions about well, where is this thing getting manufactured and what are the specs on it. The crowdfunding that they just did was just for sending out dev kits.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so it looks like this thing is going to have dev kits, which will go out in July. Um, and so, man, I kind of wish him the best of luck because in this world where it seems like computers will get increasingly more difficult to acquire, shout outs to AI. Um, it's kind of neat to think of like a new simple console sitting under TVs. Um, Obviously, it'll be a thing that'll be widely only adopted by like weirdo retro enthusiasts, Brian type folks. Um,
I'm
but
not so
man,
sure.
t- tell me more, Rocky.
I don't know. Again, like there's plenty of like 8-bit gaming that's like out there. And even stuff that's new that's like occurring that is like fully featured video games for sure. And
Yeah,
like stuff like the Pico 8 have been around for a while. And like if it turns out that this game tank is compatible with those libraries, I think you end up in a situation where like you have people who were buying the N64 in the early aughts because you could get it for cheap with a bunch of controllers and a bunch of like games that you already know are fun. Obviously, they don't have like the benefit of like a successful past Nintendo campaign to look at, but like if you're talking about a low powered device with an expansive library with things that people would actually want to play, that might find its place beyond like enthusiasts. But
um,
it depends. We'll see how it goes.
yeah. It looks uh, like it looks like it will the expansive library thing. Not necessarily because it looks like it. Um, I guess it would only happen like if somebody ported an existing game to Game Tank. Like
Right.
now, there are already people who have been like developing in the Game Tank environment,
Mm-hmm.
targeting the Game Tank hardware,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like there, I'm looking at a trailer right now for a Metroidvania game called Ganymede, which looks pretty good.
Okay.
It has kind of a like the look of it has like a vibe that I'd say like comfortably feels like somewhere between the Genesis and SNES in
Mm-hmm.
fidelity. And I'm like, oh man, so like like this seems kind of neat. And I guess developers could like say targeting they could target releasing say for the game tank and PC simultaneously pretty easily. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, uh, just like put their game game in like an emulation wrapper. Um, but this seems to be like there have been so many different ways that people have targeted the consumption of like games that feel older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like Evercade continues to just clean up. It's um, and like I'm always surprised at how well uh, the the Evercade releases that are not necessarily like old games that you're really familiar with, like do like when they've got like the Evercade cartridges, which are more focused on indie titles, those sell just as well. And then there's stuff like Playdate, which is like offering like this like monochromatic handheld experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so definitely like a retro look. Um, so like people do like I I bash on Sony a lot, but one of the reasons I bash on Sony is because like their escalating budgets really did something to like broader art direction in like the games development community, which
Sure.
is
Yeah.
yeah, um, which is kind of create this like sea of sameness at a certain budget level, where if you like just if you just showed like a bunch of rooftops in a city, um, you wouldn't know until you could see your protagonist and go like, okay, well, it's this Is this going to be Uncharted? Is this Assassin's Creed? Whatever, because everything pushes in the same direction as far as art direction goes. Um,
Sure.
but like these things which have like much lower ceilings can't participate in like the Sony arms race of realism. Um, they have to like define their aesthetic some other way, and I
Hmm.
wonder if that's part of what like draws folks in. Like when I think about the video games of my childhood, I don't think about an arms race of realism. Like one
Right.
of the things I remember thinking was like so jarring when I played Super Mario Odyssey was that like one tiny ass kingdom, which was essentially just like a dragon in it. And it's just like, come look at this dragon, and like look at this like dinosaur ass looking dragon. Um, like it was just like climbing this exquisitely rendered staircase. And I think there was like a dragon like 2/3 of the way up. There were not many moons to be had in that kingdom. Um,
Hmm.
but I remember the thing that felt so jarring about it is it didn't have that kind of like bold, soft, colorful aesthetic that you see so often in Nintendo games. Or like one of the things that like I know has been said over and over again, and not just by me, is that like you know, from its sound to its color choices to the way its city environments are drawn. Splatoon doesn't seem like a Nintendo game, but like a refugee from like the Dreamcast. Um, it's like I guess I wish this Game Tank guy all the best because anything that like says, hey, there'll be a new interesting aesthetic that exists in this place. Like that seems neat. And I
Sure.
know that like something that did rather well was the UFO 50 package,
Hmm.
where developers were given specs and said, okay, like we're developing for a hypothetical console. Here are the constraints of that hypothetical console. Here's what its memory is. Here's how many sound channels it is. So like everything on the UFO 50 package could run on that non-existent hardware. Um, Seems neat. So I was just kind of like, the part of me that likes weird edge case stuff in games saw the game tank and I was like, man, um, this seems like the kind of stuff that like grandfather of the show Joe Spiro might see and go like, oh, this awakens something in me. I know it'll certainly like stir something in me and probably friend of the show Twan because just like weirdo edge case hardware. Um, but yeah, Game Tank funded dev kits shipping July.
Hmm.
Um, we want to get to it. We want to talk about the thing.
Yeah, sure, man. Let's do it.
Man, I kind of want to call it like the final nail in the coffin and the death of Xbox. Um, but some might say I'm overreacting.
I
But
don't know. One thing that I did this morning, I did something that I never do. I opened LinkedIn this morning because I found that Sarah Bond actually gave like a final send-off message to her experience at Xbox.
yep,
Um, and there are a couple things that, like, out of context, hit kind of hard. Like, there's an actual sentence in here that straight up reads, "Xbox deserves this," but she's saying it positively. Um, but she seems to indicate that leadership seems like they're moving forward, and that a new console is actually already underway, whatever that means. So I don't think I think Microsoft/Xbox will remain a major platform holder, but I think they're going to try to redefine how that applies to the public, which will be interesting at the very least.
and something which Sony is already saying on calls, um, their investor calls, is that like they can't sustain the rollout of the PlayStation 6 um, next year.
Oh yeah,
That Yeah. Because of, at this point, both memory and solid state drive shortages. Um, and they're like, yeah, we should kick back um, the release of the PlayStation 6 to 2028 in hopes that supply chains will stabilize. Um, or that we can accrue enough inventory to launch. Uh,
Mm.
I think that unless supply chains stabilize, accruing enough inventory to launch is like a pie in the sky kind of wish.
Okay,
Um,
but I do want to talk about this inventory thing because, again, it's not just that like these like companies that are trying to build AI data centers are buying up the RAM and SSDs and no one can buy them anywhere. It's also that they've apparently pre-purchased through
Hell,
like borrowed money for like the inventory that would show up in the next couple of years,
yep,
which like to me still sounds like gibberish. I mean, if the check's clear, like the manufacturers are going to fulfill those orders, but like I don't even know if those checks are really going to clear if we're being honest, man.
right. We are talking
It's
about
like the
like,
same $1 billion just being passed around. You know, it's like when people in an artist
Right.
alley just buy art from each other the whole weekend, you know?
Right.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an incredible shell game, um, and it's a huge ass bubble. And the question is
Mhm.
just like it's a bubble which is bigger than the housing bubble in 2008, and it's a
2008.
yeah, and it's a bubble bigger than the .com bubble in 2000.
It's not if it
Um,
Mhm.
collapses, it's when, you know?
yeah,
Right.
um, but because there has been so much consolidation since those two bubbles,
Yep.
when this one goes, um, there's a question of like, is there enough money in the world to prevent like can we forestall the collapse of
Well,
society?
here's the thing. If
Oh fuck.
let's pretend for a moment that there isn't enough money in the world. That takes care of the billionaire
Okay.
class. They're because now
True.
their money is meaningless. Oh
Right.
well.
And and the things that will sustain us are our connections and how well you can cooperate with your
Yeah.
neighbors.
So like we're fine. You know?
Yeah.
But before we reach the moment where we're all at the cookout together roasting ostrich meat, uh, things have to happen first, and one of those includes the blood sacrifice of Phil Spencer. Uh, he says he's retiring. I call horseshit.
What if he does?
Uh,
I think
yeah, yeah.
someone smart should scoop him up, but like, what if he does? You know?
I mean, apparently the transition period has been going on for a year. Like he knew a year ago that he was leaving now. So
Yeah.
just because it's only recently
And
been
like,
announced to us doesn't mean like there aren't. He doesn't have plans already. You know?
oh sure, and just because we just found out about the blood sacrifice doesn't mean that it wasn't a blood sacrifice.
Correct.
Uh, yeah. Um, and there has been a lot of talk about like when did Microsoft need the head of Phil Spencer? Um, and the common consensus seems to be that like Phil Spencer wanted Xbox to stand on its own and to be a profitable, meaningful entity on its own. And so when Nadella started pushing down and going like, okay, AI bullshit. Like, how are you going to make Xbox about AI bullshit? That he pushed back on that, and that was what marked him because he wasn't like, okay, then the next Halo brought to you by AI, like that kind of thing. Like, because he didn't try to reform the brand around AI, that was what doomed him. There are people who
Right.
say that he was marked for blood sacrifice earlier than Microsoft's interest tilting entirely toward AI, and that the
I
thing that
believe that.
marked Phil Spencer for blood sacrifice was the acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
It was a big swing, and I don't personally like support it, but I understand what they were doing at the time.
And the problem is that they spent all that money on Activision Blizzard, but
Yep.
because of the structure of Xbox Game Pass,
Hmm.
all of a sudden the revenue from Call of Duty that they were anticipating collapsed because now Xbox gamers weren't buying Call of Duty anymore.
Right.
They were just getting it as part of their Game Pass. And so, like,
Hmm.
the revenue that was anticipated as part of that acquisition just wasn't there. Because now half of the gamer class who buy that game every year didn't have to buy that game anymore, which is what led to the catastrophic price hike on Game Pass, which did a lot to burn Phil's brand, and then there was the push pull around the Xbox handheld, and the way that project got started, and the way that project got botched. Like, one of the things that has already been said by Microsoft in the wake of this Phil Spencer announcement is there has been some "we hear you" about exclusives, and that they hear Xbox customers who want exclusives again. And I don't just think it necessarily like exclusives. I think that folks just want fucking stuff to come out of all of those studios that they own. If you're going to own a zillion studios, they should publish games. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think like I think they didn't believe the timelines when they were like said, like because it does take like what 5-7 years for like a competent team to put out a good video game nowadays.
I mean, at the scale, and that's the problem. At the scale which is now demanded, which has been
Right.
pushed by Sony. It's weird because like Sony has pushed the conversation in one direction to the so-called quadruple A video game. That
Hmm.
if you want to be competitive in the quadruple A marketplace, then yeah, you're going to need to spend like 7 years, making sure the license plates in your game are legible, and that if it's a shooter, the glass cracks just right because there's so much demand for air quote realism that unless it passes the smell test, like it just people will reject it out of hand. Like I remember noticing like the way people reacted to the first multiplayer test of Halo Infinite, where there was a
Sure.
map where part of the map took place in like an outdoor like food market with like vegetable stalls, and how nerds were just like walking up to the vegetable stalls, like shooting the vegetables, going like, "What is this shit? None of this is exploding right," because they had been Sony'd so hard. Like they were
Sure.
so used to oh well, things should always make a puddle that is real, or this should streak or
Yeah.
whatever. That like
Hmm.
in a game which is supposed to be like a fast paced like arena style shooter,
Hmm.
they want to know why the watermelons aren't blowing up just right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why you got 7 year long games that take $250 million to develop.
I do want to say, like, well, I do agree that, like, the AAA or future quadruple A stuff, definitely costs that much. There are plenty of like double A games or even, just like solo dev things that just take that amount of time just because that's the level of iteration that you're working with, Like I wonder if there's like some sort of equation. It's probably not real, but I wonder if there's an idea where like it just takes an amount of time to refine an idea, and so like bigger companies are trying to leverage their advantage by throwing money at that also, not to speed it up, but to like make sure that it hits whenever it's done. I don't know for sure, but I think when Microsoft was like picking up so many companies, it was something like 20, 30 or so by like the end of it, I think. Now all of them are on Microsoft's payroll. And honestly, given time, I think they would all make stuff that would make Microsoft
Right.
money. But like it's just like now they're all like taking a salary essentially, and they're not going to pay out for another 5 years. And that's like something that probably Phil Spencer and their team had like an understanding about, but like looks really bad to like shareholders looking at the Xbox division while they've in response to like the meteoric rise that they've had. You know, they started growing a lot faster than the rest of Microsoft, and then their response with their exponential growth, or like well, not exponential. Let's not say that. I hate using that phrase, anyways. But their incredible growth is to spend a lot of money, and they're going to be stuck spending a lot of money for most of the foreseeable future, as far as they can tell, and that doesn't look good. And like
Crazy
maybe there was
stuff.
just not enough people who believed that they could stay the course, and so they started blowing stuff up. Especially with like AI that appears to be making money, but it's still circular deals. It's not sustainable. It's not in the real world. It's like internet money. I don't know.
It, and things I want to point out about Phil Spencer is he had been with Microsoft since 1988.
Yeah.
He started with Microsoft um, as an intern in college. And so when he finished school, he just stayed with the company that he had started interning at. As long as there has been a dedicated gaming division in Microsoft, Phil Spencer has been in it. So
Mm.
he has been with, gaming at Microsoft long before there was an Xbox. Um, like, uh, like there are folks who remember the rumors. Like the like, I wonder if this is going to really happen. Like when in like say 97, 98, we started to hearing rumbles of like, Microsoft is encountering so much success with DirectX. What if they, found a way to release a low cost PC, which just, gave everybody the DirectX experience? And then, not too long after that, we had uh, people started reporting on something called the Direct Xbox, which got shortened. Say
Right.
Xbox, it's in there. Uh, uh, but yeah, like this, like the Xbox originally started as like it's this weird circular journey with like the Xbox because it was originally envisioned as a way to bring PC quality gaming to the to console players, through the DirectX experience. But now like looking at stuff like the the Xbox handheld that did get released, which is just like a branded PC running Windows. It's just like, oh man, is it going to run all the way back to just being a PC product again? Is that what's going on? Um,
Honestly, maybe like with
yeah,
the game mode stuff, that's like now part and parcel with like every Windows installation. The fact
yeah.
that they bothered to create a setting called game mode that's supposed to optimize for like gameplay and experiences, they might be trying to walk back Xbox altogether. I could totally believe that.
I mean, the thing that console players have always liked is you flip on a thing and it play a game, and you don't have to.
Fuss with it.
Yeah, you don't have to fuss with it. You don't have to know anything.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that like Valve has offered me experience where I don't have to know anything. I turn on a thing and I play a game, and it's been a pretty great experience. And the problem is that like Microsoft has so many masters that demand profitability. I don't
Hmm.
think I don't think they can offer an experience that simple now. Because
no, I don't think so.
What about AI? Like, how are we integrating AI? How are we integrating AI at the consumer level? Oh,
Wild thing is, I don't know anybody who likes AI.
Yeah.
I do not know a single person who hears AI is going to be in a thing and goes, "Oh, good," you know?
Let me give them more money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Not
talking
not a single thing have I heard anybody go like, "Okay," and that's like not just like online. That's like in real life spaces too, where it's just like, it's gonna have AI in it. Ugh, I don't want it
yeah.
anymore. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, can you imagine if at like a system level, not even like a game level, but like because do you remember y'all like some of the unfulfilled promises of Google Stadia? Um, one of the unfulfilled promises was like, that's right. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to YouTube to watch a tutorial video, and you're gonna say like, oh, I know now I know how to do that, and you're gonna be able to transition into playing the game from the point that you saw in the tutorial video, because essentially all you're doing is like fucking with streamed video anyway. Um, and people are like, oh wow, that seems swell. Did Google ever actually deliver on that promise? No, of course not. It was pie in the sky hand gibbery. Uh, but God, can you imagine some console integrating at the system level because it has to because of some directive from some guy, some stupid like AI sidekick which just like watches you play games and go like, "Hey Rocky, hey Rocky, hey Rocky, you might want to take the base X multiplier because that'll mean that your guns are stronger. Your guns are stronger. Your guns are stronger. Hey Rocky,
Oh, man.
hey Rocky, why not equip the orange sneakers? The orange sneakers will make your character jump 4 times higher." And you're like, God damn it, game! I'm playing Pac-Man. Can't you see that I don't even have shoes on? Oh, my bad. I was just funning. Which one he like tells one of the AI lies for hallucinating. Like,
Yeah.
I just persistent, annoying, irritating AI sidekick tells you how to backseat game. I'm the future
To be
now.
fair, Sony tried to do that like 2 years ago.
Are you
if I remember
talking about
correctly.
Atreus, God of War?
No, I'm not doing that.
Are you
Not
sure?
that.
Because like that's what he did.
Yeah,
That's what he did.
he did do that, and they like Sony has published games that like annoyingly like tell you what you need to do, and like I'm not talking about that specifically, even though that is a problem. I'm talking about that year where they were saying, hey, you've ever been stuck in a game and like you're not sure what to do? Well, you can just press a button on the PS5 and it'll open a YouTube video to a guide to the section that you're already at. Isn't that convenient? And it's just like, no, stop doing this shit. What are you talking about?
I like it when I get to figure out the game. You know? If I decide I want to look it up, I'll look it up myself. I don't need your help. I know how to research. Fucking idiots.
God, I know how to research. Like, I like using my brain. It's one of my favorite things, personally. Like shit.
Can you believe there's so many people who don't like using their brain?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Tegan, there are a lot of people who like end up in a situation where when they think a little too hard, they get a headache, and like that doesn't sound fun.
No, that's not fair. Yeah,
I get that part.
They're the exception. That's the one like exception I'll make.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to
yeah.
receive an injury.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, man. They want to make that the default. It's like, no, dude, you don't have to think to be here. It's cool.
I want to think. That's why I play Blueprints.
There's a thing that I have seen with some regularity. It makes me worried about where we are, which is photographers will photograph a street in San Francisco, and then they will crop it, the photo that they're publishing, and orient the image so that the street appears flat.
Oh yeah, I think that's fun. I think that's super cool. That's some cool ass art right there. I think that's neat.
Right.
But
And
if
of
you
course,
don't, the streets are curved. You may.
Yeah, but there's all these people who do not understand. Like they're like, why are the buildings crooked? Why are the buildings kind of laying on their side? Wouldn't you just roll out of bed? How do you get up your stairs? And I'm like, we're just fucking done. We're done. We're done.
We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be a mess for a very long time, but we're going to figure it out. So help me, God.
It's all fixable.
Rocky, you and I are going to figure it out. Tegan is going to figure it out. Lots of people are going to figure it out. These motherfuckers look at the pictures in San Francisco going, you're just going to roll out of bed? They ain't going to figure out shit. Like, they're not.
Here's the thing, they haven't had to look at things from a different perspective before, you know?
Right.
They're learning. It's a new muscle for them. It's okay to be bad at stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay to be confused.
They're going to ask someone
what is
someday.
happening here? You know? That's all right. We have to encourage curiosity. We can't just look at people and call them dumbasses for not knowing a thing.
Like, Brian, that person, like, I haven't had this experience, but I don't doubt I would, like, run into one of my coworkers, whoever they may be, and they're just like, isn't it crazy, like, that they build buildings like this? Like, they'd fall out of bed, right? It's like, no, dude, the streets aren't actually crooked, dude. They just angle the camera like that. And they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, man, like, you show them a photo, and they're like, they grow from it.
My dad took pictures like that. My dad took photos like that of San Francisco in like the 70s. Like, that's also not a new phenomenon. You know?
Shout out to Papa Somerset.
I remember
Dad is cool. My dad is dumb, but he's cool. A person who
on this show took like a journey from being dunked to hero some years ago, and at this point, I wanted to give the person knighthood.
Okay.
Which is
let's get a new
why can't Metroid crawl guy?
Oh right.
What?
Yes.
I don't know who this is.
Okay, so in real
Frank,
time,
talking, Tegan, I'll get a thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So why can't Metroid crawl was a phenomenon where a person was playing through Metroid for the first time, at the dawn of the Switch into the Wii U era, and there were things that they expected to happen in the game, and so they would like post a picture online, and ask like other people about why the game wasn't doing what they expected, and the most famous picture they posted was why can't Metroid crawl, because they were calling Samus Metroid.
Okay.
And the thing is that like in isolation, like this is just one photo by or one screen cap by a dumbass, but it was the hero's journey of why can't Metroid crawl guy, because he ended up beating Metroid. He learned the things that the game had to offer, and he's like, oh, you don't crawl because like you can turn a ball and spin, and he figured it all out. And I think that like the difference between then and now is that then dude posts why can't Metroid crawl, but then he keeps at it himself because he's interested in the mysteries that the game has to offer. Now I think now a lot, I'm not saying a lot of people would take to the internet and go, why can't Metroid crawl, and not continue on their own journey. Like they would ask her like that like instantaneous gratification of someone explaining why can't Metroid crawl, and then when they get it, like how that be enough for them. Like, oh, okay, like they tell me why Metroid cannot crawl.
Right, but like I think the difference here is the difference between like what when this happened in like 2013 and like now is that social media, when they post that to some place, it wouldn't be Miiverse. It would be like X or like Reddit or maybe even on a YouTube comment or something. And then like they would have people show up like near like semi-pro agitators looking to quote tweet and dunk on and like poke fun at this person, and then this person is now in a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the platform would incentivize the fight to go on as long as possible. There'd be real brands, you know, like fucking Tootsie Roll would jump in on the conversation for a quick dunk because there's a social media intern that needs to get a certain number of likes a day or some bullshit. You know what I mean? And like the world's different for sure, but yeah, man, I like
Also-
sincerely forgot about Why Can't Metroid Crawl Guy.
Also, like, why can't Metroid Crawl Guy would have an answer? There had been that little guidebook that used to come with video games. Remember the little guidebook that used to come with video games?
True.
That would have listed
Yeah.
like most of Samus's power-ups in there and told him that,
Mhm.
hey, the character in this game is not called Metroid, they're called Samus. You know? And Samus is and here's the plot of the game, basically. And this is why you're here. And those books don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't
even
think
some of them that come with like the digital guides, but
yeah, I don't think any of this is why would Metroid Crawl Guy's fault, you know?
No.
And I don't think his curiosity is being rewarded here, you know? Because it would have just doesn't want no crawl, and you would have opened up the little game book, and it would have said Metroid doesn't crawl because Metroid gets a ball power that lets you do a thing, you know? And he wouldn't have had to post online at all for about any of this. He could have found his answer in a little book.
Yeah, maybe so. It's a different world now.
We've removed the
sure
tools of discovery from people, and now we're dunking on them for it. And I don't think that's cool. I don't like that as a trend.
I hear that.
You know?
Word.
I'm glad Metroid Guy got to answer his question. I'm glad he stuck with it. I'm glad the Miiverse was a contained space that he could ask that question and not get immediately shit upon.
Yeah. Did it land, Brian?
Sorry,
Like,
did
we're
who
not
get
in this
land?
guy. The Why Can't Metroid Crawl Guy, Polly.
I don't think they get land by default.
Yeah, that's fine. What's your title? Polly Polly you of what, I suppose.
And I don't know everything that comes with knighthood.
What if
I wish I did.
what if they just get a title? What if we call them Polly the Persevering?
Sounds good.
Sir Polly Sir Polly of Perseverance.
I suppose we can't call him Sir Polly of Metroid Upon Crawl.
That would imply there's a place in Metroid where you can crawl, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Video games. In theory, we're talking about Phil Spencer right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil and Sarah. I feel bad for Sarah Bond, sincerely. Like, I think she was being positioned to, like, you know, lead Xbox once Phil was ultimately going to be done. And while I didn't agree with everything that she did, you know, and like, I do think that she did a good job at Microsoft. And, you know, I think maybe she could have been good for the future of like Xbox. It seemed like that she had an understanding of like who she was talking to and like the product that she was selling. And like that's not nothing. And it's probably more than what I can say about her successor. Not her successor, but the new CEO, head of Xbox.
Yeah, I hope like games as a space to like engage with art and find relaxation are best when lots of different organizations are making it with different philosophies and different approaches. Like very obviously, if you pick up a Nintendo title and a Sony title, um, they're we need diversity in approaches. And then the thing I think that I've worried most about with like this Phil Spencer Sarah Bond thing is that um, there was at one point an Xbox voice. There
Right.
was a point where you could like play a game and go, "Oh, this is an Xbox Xbox game," and I'm just wondering, like, is that all gone now? Has the rampant acquisitions, the AI refocus, and now the like shoving out of two senior leaders, like, is there still a voice for Xbox at all anywhere?
I think
Like,
it's
has it been extinguished?
no, I think it's just new.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a new
And
voice.
I think who knows if it'll last also, you know? I feel like there's something intentional about maintaining and like keeping a voice in these conversations. And I don't know if Xbox will remain a voice that's worth listening to, or even one that has a character that like remains in public consciousness. You know, like Microsoft still has more money than God, and so like you can't ignore their influence, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have like a voice that you can hear. You know?
Oh, sure. And with my very limited bandwidth about what to listen to and not to listen to, I could very well like reallocate the listen coins I had for them to Playdate or Game Tank or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hear that.
There was, believe it or not, a point where like a reasonable amount of innovation was done with Microsoft's like in-house game studios, and it truly did begin before the wild rampant acquisition of 11 billion studios. Yeah. Y'all, question: is this a podcast?
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I
What do you
guess.
think, Teeks?
Seems fine to me.
Let's take it home.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out today. This has been the Impossible Quinn podcast. You can find where podcasts are found. Tell your friends, I guess. But we're just kind of happy to be here, I think. There's music gonna be a good show. It's produced by our kid brother, Big Sach, who's maybe a family man. He keeps his work at SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Big Sach NJ. And his band produces music that is distributed at betweenrooms.bandcamp.com. Our logo was designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on social media at Lauren Moran. She has a Patreon. She does really good work. If you can support her, it's not a bad idea. We are on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Blue Sky. Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin. No dashes, underscores, or anything weird like that. So if you want to talk to us, if you want to send us something, if there's something that you believe we should give some attention to, let us know. We're around. And we do stream a couple times a week on Twitch. You can find us at twitch.tv/ImpossibleCoin. Am I missing something? I'm not sure. But I'm sure if there's anything that you need to tell us, we'll be around to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be hanging out.
It feels like it's been a while since we've said that there are cats available to grade mail, but there are cats available to grade mail.
We all have cats now. That's fun.
Ugh.
I was the only one that didn't have any cats for like the longest time.
It's true.
It was going to change one way or another. I'm positive.
Fair enough.
Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.